WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Orioles lefty John Means almost achieved perfection today in Seattle.
2 flyouts for Crawford in the game. The wind, first pitch. A swing on a line drive. It is caught by the shortstop Urias. And John Means has done it in Seattle. He has thrown a no-hitter as the Orioles take down the Mariners 6-0.
The call on 105.7 The Fan. Only one batter reached against Means, and that was on a wild pitch strike 3 in the 3rd inning. He had 12 strikeouts in all and threw a career-high 113 pitches. John Means joins Freddie and Fitzsimmons at 9 Eastern here on ESPN Radio. Other finals today. First of a doubleheader, the Cardinals win their 6th in a row, 4-1 against the Mets. Paul DeJong with a 2-run homer. The Rockies get all 6 of their runs in the 4th inning and beat the Giants 6-5. The Reds beat the White Sox 1-0 in 10 innings. It seems just about everyone has a prediction about what Aaron Rodgers will do in Green Bay, including the guy he replaced as Packers quarterback. Hall of Famer Brett Favre says he thinks Rodgers is out in Green Bay.
I think I know Aaron fairly well, and honestly, I just don't see him coming back and just saying, all right, let's bury the hatchet.
Brett Favre on ESPN Wisconsin. As part of a global event on Saturday night to encourage people to get COVID-19 vaccines, the NFL will put up 50 free tickets to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles.
It's Greeny, and Thursday, you think you know everything about what happened in the draft and why it mattered? Think again. Todd McShay will join me. Don't miss a minute. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Championship Barbecue is now available at your fingertips with the new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue online ordering app. Place your order for the legendary Z-Man or Rocket Pig sandwiches, slabs of ribs, or a burn-end dinner right now. It's just a few clicks from your smartphone, and your order will be hot and ready for curbside pickup. The new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app is perfect for a weeknight dinner with the family or feeding your entire office. So don't wait. Download the brand-new Joe's Kansas City Barbecue app today.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Nate Bukaty, announcer for Sporting KC. I'm teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize administrators, teachers, and students who make our community a better place to live, work, and play. Each Blue KC Sporting Samaritan will be recognized at a Sporting KC home match, receive tickets to the match, Sporting KC merchandise, and more. To learn more about the program and nominate your Blue KC Sporting Samaritan, just go to sportingkc.com/BlueKC.
Isn't this a sports show?
How do I make a button work over here?
Do I need to come in there?
No, absolutely not. Not allowed.
I don't know what you've done.
At the commercial break, by the way, we'll fix this. We'll Freaky Friday our way back.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe.
Will we?
I don't know.
Almost entirely.
How do I play
just click
clicky button?
Click, you just click part one of the buttons. Has to be on, you click on it. What did you do?
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Which hotkey are you clicking? What are you trying to click?
I don't want to tell you. Don't come in here, Beers. No, Beers, go away!
But see, if you don't, I know you don't want to tell us, but at some point, you kind of have to give us something.
I'm trying not to hit the
so
breaking news one, and it's not playing.
Is cart 3 up?
Yes.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, hi, Jason.
Hey, ask Jason.
So why isn't this playing?
Oh, it's because this is old audio. It's being rejected. You have jammed up the whole. I need to reboot it.
See, I asked you if there was text in the top left corner.
April Fool's, Jason.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I think maybe today will be the day that we actually get to a little bit more of the audio that I've been lying to you about several days about getting to. Also, a few more stories around the world of the Chiefs and the AFC West and all that. We're probably not going to leave we're probably not going to leave the realm of the Chiefs NFL draft very much here on tonight's edition of Almost Entirely Sports. I have to imagine, just sort of knowing our general audience, chance that you'll be okay with that fact. Welcome in to the show. It's myself and Rudy Salazar here tonight. Beards McFly back on Friday. He's getting a COVID shot and moving.
Maybe back on Friday.
He may be back on Friday.
We'll
That's
see.
true. Also,
I don't know if we're going to be here on Friday.
You know, we could all be dead by Sunday, Kyle Shanahan once said. There's no chance that Beards is listening, so I'm going to say this just.
Beards is not checking the group, like the WhatsApp message thread. Beards is completely out. I sent him an email. There was no response.
You sent him an email?
Well, I attached him on an email sent to somebody else about the camera issues yesterday. Just because I wanted Beards to be in the loop. I was like, hey, we're having this problem. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term thing. It's fine now. The camera looks sparkly clean. You know what? We have no need to go to it, but I'm going to go to it so you can see it.
It does look great.
It looks good now.
What a weird issue.
But I wanted to include him, and I kind of thought there might just not a response to the said email, but like he would then just send a message in the group, just like, what's up with the camera? No. Beards is checked out. Which is no different than a normal day, but.
So what I was going to say with the full support of just sort of rampant, just being honest and knowing that we're not going to have to take this from Beards at any point. The exact joke I'm about to make, I think genuinely has gotten to a point where it is actively bothering him. I feel like he's taken this as a personal attack. Well, I don't really mean for it to, but that is kind of the joke. He's taking off 3 days to get his first COVID shot and to move. And I think Rudy took off a Saturday and is currently on his post-first COVID shot grind right now.
I did take off the Friday like that because that was the day it was like, okay,
an NFL draft. You weren't going to be here
but that's
anyway,
true.
though.
I had no shows to do. If I would have came into work, I honestly would have came into work to just sit on my computer. I probably would have found something, but I didn't have a lot to do that day.
Someone would have found something for you.
True. Oh man, I was gonna make. Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say I was gonna make a joke, but I forgot the joke, and now I remember the joke. How many times do you think Rebecca has to like get Beards back on track because he's busy searching, because he's busy on Reddit?
I just think that's a constant state of their relationship.
But
I don't think she's ever not doing that.
Yeah, like she's packing up stuff Beards is supposed to be, but he's now on Reddit's caught his attention on something. And it's like what we do here.
Yeah.
But it's there, obviously. It's real life now.
I'm just glad that he's not here to either take offense to or defend himself on this topic.
And he'll never hear this.
Never. Don't. And hey, everybody, I know you're thinking right now, hey, I'm listening to the show. I can send it to him. It'll be funny. Don't.
Tweet him. He won't see it.
I'm not going to dare you to tweet him because I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm not daring him, you guys either. But I don't think he would.
I'm also currently having a hard time just getting the computer to my left. Like, I think I just turned it off. I'm sort of confused. I don't have any comments up yet, but if you want to leave a comment in one of our various places, we'll get to them eventually. You can go to the Sports Radio 810 Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels and interact with the show that way. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know what you're thinking about whatever it is that we end up talking about. Predominantly, we will talk Chiefs draft today, which is always something that I'm happy to be doing. And you know what? I've rebooted the computer. Now it's turning on. So, did I try turning it off and turning it back on again? No. Then I did, and I fixed it. Would you look at that?
I gotta say, I want to point this out too. Backtracking a little bit to when I got my shot.
Yeah.
I signed up for an appointment. Part of that was expecting you kind of needed one. Honestly, I don't think I would have really ever needed one. I think I could have just because I even said walk-ins welcome. But how organized it all was. I was essentially in a warehouse, and there was a bunch of people there, and everybody just kept pointing me like you go boom, boom, boom.
You went to a warehouse?
It was essentially kind of like a warehouse. It was Johnson County's health deal. It was like you go through a building, just like a normal building, and then you kind of go to the back. And warehouse is probably the wrong word. It's probably more of a gymnasium-ish type.
Sure.
Big open, but I would say it's bigger than your normal gymnasium. A lot of space, but there were tons of people there pointing me around. I got from the start of the line to the end of the line in 5 minutes tops.
Seems like something people should do.
Yeah, then I had to sit there for 15 minutes just to make sure, they're just like, hey, sit here for 15 minutes, just make sure you don't have any immediate bad side effects. Right. That way, if you do, we're here. Nobody did. I don't think most people do. But it's just when you get a shot, you're generally supposed to just wait like 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's a smart method. Boom. It was fast and efficient. And I was honestly surprised because, I just don't expect really anything to ever be fast or efficient because very few things in my life are. And this was wildly fast, wildly efficient. I went through the Johnson County Health Department website. They're great.
Especially medical things, you just sort of assume there's going to be like a 45-minute wait somewhere along the line because it's a medical thing and doctors are late. That's sort of, dentists are late, doctors are late, they get backed up, they don't keep up with their schedule. That just happens like all the time. I went to a Walgreens twice. And the first, you mentioned this, I noticed this on my second shot. The first time I went, they're like, yeah, please just have a seat over there for, 10 or 15 minutes and just make sure, like you said, nothing crazy happens or anything. And then you're good to go. I said, cool. So I waited a full 15 and I went, all right, thanks everybody. Peaced out. The second time, the pharmacist said, you can wait around for 15 minutes. So I don't even know if I sat down. I kind of walked away like slowly. I think I sent a text, responding to a text message that I had recently missed, and then I left because it was fine.
This just like describes the type of person that I am. Like at one point I was sitting down, it was like 14 minutes in, and I was like, yeah, it's been 14 minutes. I kind of started again, and I was like, no, I'm just going to wait till 15 minutes. Yep. It was 9:05 when I sat down. It's going to be 9:20 when I stand up.
That's what I did on my first go round. Second go round, I definitely.
Well, they gave you the option.
They gave me permission.
They gave you permission.
Yeah, absolutely. So I took that permission and walked right out the door with it. There you go.
Incredible Hulk says he's feeling like Thanos just beat him up.
So that's really.
Speaking of the movie, that doesn't seem great.
It's kind of funny. This is a point that somebody made to me yesterday at some point, I think. Everyone who says someone may have said this on the show. If I'm missing somebody saying this on the show, then I apologize. But somebody said that, a lot of people have said, oh man, I got my COVID shot and I feel like I got hit by a truck.
Yeah. That was me.
You use that. Lots of people use that phrase.
Oh, gotcha.
Someone made this point.
Gotcha.
Everyone who has said that the COVID shot makes them feel like they got hit by a truck
has never been hit by a truck.
Has almost certainly never been hit by a truck.
Say that it was somebody I think we had on the show.
Okay, recently. So it could have been
because I think I also heard this.
It could have been.
Oh, was it Lebo? I think it was Lebo.
Lebo probably said that to
Lebo
us
said it
off
yesterday
air.
when we had our powwow when the very nice lady Barbara brought us cookies.
Good cookies too.
Very good cookies. Barbara, if you're listening, the cookies were great.
They were really excellent.
They did not last more than one of them. Technically, lasted more than an hour because it just kind of got left behind. But they were gone within an hour.
Yeah, and that last one was Rudy's little take-home pick-me-up.
I forgot about it, so the second I got in today, I ate it.
Oh, it made it till this morning.
Yes, I forgot all about it.
But that's great,
Second I got in, I walked into the office, I saw it there, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
You got surprise cookies twice. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's
I was
perfect.
Happy.
So, there's that.
I
think if
by
you
the
can
way,
frame up my camera, I feel like the camera needs to scooch, because I'd really like to be kind of here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just kind of scooch bring me the camera a little bit. Sorry, you were going to say something that I'm asking you to say while you're editing the camera.
Caden pointed out that the place where I'm trying to do both things here.
I know it's tough. Perfect. That's perfect.
The place
You've nailed it.
So the place where I got my shot was is an abandoned Best Buy that was a Spirit of Halloween last October.
And
that checks
right?
out because it was a bigger. It wasn't a warehouse. You're right. It wasn't a warehouse. The warehouse was just kind of first thing popped in my mind because there's nothing in it. But it definitely looked like a bigger retail store, like a Best Buy. It's like that checks out.
That's pretty good, actually. You know what I did over the weekend that I
Darth
haven't brought
Maul
up yet?
says he's here for your pee punch. Z-Man asks if Thanos is the dude from Superman that freezes everyone that Wesley Snipes played.
Yes. That is Thanos. And also, happy today, the Revenge of the Fifth. Yet another day honoring the tremendous Star Trek franchise.
Love it.
Live long and prosper.
I spent the whole day thinking it was the 6th until this exact moment.
Yesterday was the 4th.
I thought yesterday was the 5th, to be honest. I thought it was a joke where it was the day we were making the jokes the day after.
What?
Yeah.
You were doing a whole other layer of meta on that then.
I thought it was like a joke because it's the day after the 5th, and we were like, yep, or the day after the 4th. Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Wow.
I saw a lot of people tweeting about it, and I thought all the tweets were also the jokes. I'm really off right now, date-wise. I'm learning some things about myself right now.
Quick, what year is it?
1992.
Correct.
The Lord of our Savior.
The Lord of our Savior?
1992.
The year of our Lord?
Yes.
Rudy's got the excuse now. You got the shot.
Foggy brain.
What am I gonna do? Be a bleep hole to the guy that just got his COVID vaccine? Absolutely not.
I'm a half-vaccinated man, okay? The brain's not fully functioning yet. I got 3 weeks on a half-vaccinated brain.
How long do you think we can blame on that? I was talking to the
2
Drake.
years.
2 years. I think that probably feels right. I was talking to the Drake. I was talking to Jason just a little bit before the show, and I was explaining my slightly puffy armpit and how that's my one side effect, vaccine-wise at this point.
Very weird side effect.
Really weird. I mean, the
Totally
logic of
fine,
it makes
but
sense.
Just weird.
That there's a lymph node under there, that it swells up whenever that lymph node is doing work for your immune system, and it's right by where it's the closest, I guess, lymph node to where the shot went and everything. So the logic of it actually all makes perfect sense. It is just also obviously very weird.
Yeah.
But I was talking about that very strange side effect, and had mentioned that you said that you feel like you got hit by a truck on shot number 1, and
feeling better than now. I think part of
good.
it was shot 1 just made me tired, and I was already tired, and so you had this double tired just hitting me, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's
arm does hurt a little bit,
a little tender,
and then the right arm started to hurt. But I think that was just because of like the way I was doing a lot of typing today, and the way I was. I think part of this is just being tall and not being able to I'm still trying to figure out how to get sometimes up to a desk the most ergonomically correct way. That just kind of sometimes will make, and I type in a weird way where my left wrist is on the computer, but my right wrist is not. So it's almost like my right arm is actively up in the air, whereas my left isn't. I think it's just a little off, and it just makes my arm a little sore if I type too much. It's weird.
Can you find the breaking news sound effect for me?
Ooh, let's see.
I know this is a pretty heavy reach here, but I do need it because I promise you what it's going to be for will ultimately be worth it. Also, there are a few sort of minor Chiefs moves today that I do want to talk about here that we will do momentarily. Breaking news: Mark Mangino just tweeted out a picture of a package of bratwursts.
Now I'm hungry.
They're actually technically, I believe they are knackwurst.
What's that?
It looks like I think it's got to be a bratwurst, but judging by the bottom of the picture. But he just tweeted that out with, "Who said I only like Italian food?" And
I want to hang out with Mark Mangino.
I do too, man. That's all that I really want.
Twitter handles keep sawing wood.
Yeah,
it's not at Mark, Coach Mangino, or at Mark Mangino. Like that's just Mark Mangino's cool.
His previous tweet was 40 minutes ago. It was a picture of a sign with a Texas logo. So I imagine it's got to be in Texas. It is. There's Texas sort of around the letters and words. HTO. And he said this place is iced tea heaven. Is there a place just for iced tea in Texas called HTO? Of course there is.
I say the southern states love their tea. It is, and it's a little different because iced tea and sweet tea is not the exact same, but it's tea. When I was in Kentucky, sweet tea is a religion.
I was going to say a religious experience. Yeah, that makes sense.
People don't mess around with their sweet tea down there, man.
HTO sounds incredible. I'm a big fan.
I bet it is like a tea place.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very clever name, by the way.
It's really good. I'm a big fan. I don't need to upgrade on Quick Trip right now. I'm even currently drinking a peach tea flavored G Fuel because my brand is pretty consistent at this point. But I would enjoy a specific iced tea joint just somewhere within our general range. Although Quick Trip's tea, I think, is very underrated. They have a whole section of it, the one by here. It's wonderful.
Have I told you about my tea story? Like recently?
Well,
Do
you
I
know
think
what?
I like tea now?
At this point, man, it would be absolutely bonkers for me not to ask for the tea story, and then we can talk about the Chiefs' minor moves they made earlier today.
Yeah, it's not like a necessarily like a super crazy story or anything. But I went to, I believe it was just getting a Dr. Pepper from McDonald's, like just one morning for breakfast. And I remember getting handed the drink, right?
Yeah.
Like I got my food, got my drink. The chicken McGriddle is it's an experience, man.
McDonald's breakfast, super underrated.
I got to limit myself to like once a week tops. Otherwise, I'll just eat way too many chicken McGriddles.
Yeah.
But I don't
think I've had the chicken one. Sounds great.
I'm not even necessarily a McGriddle guy, but the chicken one is something special.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I get my drink and I'm like, I didn't really think too much of it, but I was like, it just looks a little lighter on the top, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not thinking too much. Like maybe the syrup is a little at the end, so maybe it won't taste
right.
like whatever. And then I get home, and again, I'm expecting a Dr. Pepper. I go to take a drink, and my face, I almost spit out the drink because it was tea, and I was expecting Dr. Pepper.
And you were expecting something carbonated too.
And I've typically never been much of a tea guy. I don't hate tea, but I don't typically like tea. And I kind of made a face like, oh my God, this is disgusting. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. I think I like tea now. I drank the whole thing. And like I used to not really have like an affinity for really, there are some teas like I've occasionally had like a strawberry flavored tea, right? And I'm like, and it's always been fine, but never just normal tea.
Sure.
And I was like, I think I like tea now. And I drank the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, I like tea. I'm good with tea now. That's one thing, like, you don't understand as a kid is how your taste buds change over life, and the things that you used to hate, you're going to love one day. Because, like, peppers are that for me, where I hated anything spicy growing up, and now I want my food to be so spicy I cry. That's an experience, man.
The problem is that all you need for the peppers to do is to be like, you're never going to truly feel love. But, I mean, I get that you also want it to be spicy.
I mean, that's spicy.
That's true. I guess in a way it's spicy.
Physically and emotionally.
That's right.
Pain is pain.
I wish I wouldn't have spoke over you saying hurt me physically and emotionally, but I made a mistake this segment. It was ending that liner before it ever had a chance to begin.
Just hurt me.
Let's do this. Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, I want to talk about the 3 new players the Chiefs added today. They hit their 90-man roster and then also added another player, so I'm guessing we're going to see someone headed off of the roster relatively soon.
Maybe Patrick Mahomes?
It's a great point, Rudy. I'm glad that somebody's mentioning it because I feel like, honestly, at this point, we got to start...
Sign an undrafted free agent.
We got to start talking about this
Who's
as a possibility.
Compared to Case Keenum.
It could save a lot of money against the cap.
Case Keenum.
Not for a while, but eventually, someday, it would probably be some money against the cap. No, I don't think it'll be Mahomes. They didn't sign another quarterback, but they did sign a couple of defenders that I think could actually have a role on this team. And I think that there is a positive way and a little bit of a bummer way of reading into at least one of the signings. We'll explain that whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey folks, this is Nate Bucati from my friend Gary Joslin and Joslin's Jewelry. Look, in this day and age, most jewelry stores won't give you the service or knowledge that you need. If you want to work with real Kansas Cityans and get a great diamond at a great price, trust me, go to Joslin's. They're all about making friends and having long-term relationships. That's why they do such a great business with their in-house repairs. If you take your ring into one of those big box jewelry stores because it needs a repair, be prepared to pay all kinds of markups and fees that you don't need. That's not what they do at Joslin's. At Joslin's, you get an honest quote, a fair price, and the repairs that you need. And they've got a great selection of diamonds. So give them a call today at 913-341-2021, or you can look them up online at joslinsjewelry.com. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come. Kansas City's nicest upscale golf course, the Golf Club at Creekmore, is offering a preview 3-month trial membership. Come see why Golf Digest ranks it as one of the best courses you can play in the state in 2020. And Creekmore has a great new twilight rate for golf after 5 p.m. It's only $25 per person, including cart for as much golf as you can play. Host of several prestigious events annually, such as the U.S. Open Qualifier. Play more at Creekmore by calling 816-331-2621. Your only short drive of the day will be getting there.
Attention homeowners. Are you looking for cash at a lower interest rate? Tired of paying high interest rates on credit cards? With the Figure Home Equity Line, you can use your equity to help you start saving. Rates as low as just 2.88% APR. Get approval in minutes and funding in as few as 5 days. Apply at figure.com and see if a home equity line is right for you. Figure out your finances at figure.com. Call 1-888-819-6388 for details about credit costs and terms. Figure Lending LLC. Equal Opportunity Lender. NMLS 1717-824. Terms and conditions apply. Figure.com.
Building a pool is not a job for amateurs. If you want a pool you'll enjoy for a lifetime, call the pros at Pro-Built Pool and Patio. Pro-Built Pool and Patio is the largest provider of fiberglass pools in the region. Unlike liners, fiberglass pools from Imagine Pools and Pentair Pool Equipment are built to last, and they have over 200 different design options to fit your space. Pro-Built Pool and Patio offers competitive pricing, financing, and the fastest install timelines. Get a free quote by calling 816-786-3893 or go to ProBuiltPatio.com.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here. Mother's Day is this Sunday, and this year you need to make it extra special because Mom deserves more than just breakfast in bed. So how about super cozy pajamas designed for ultimate relaxation exclusively from Pajamagram.com, the trusted PJ experts who know exactly what moms want. With timeless looks, playful patterns, and luxurious materials, Pajamagram.com is where you'll find the perfect gift for Mother's Day. Super soft PJs that'll leave her feeling cozy, comfy, and ready to unwind. Whether she's a dog lover, a coffee connoisseur, or anything in between, Pajamagram has the perfect PJs for your mom. And right now, Pajamagram.com is including free gift packaging with your order, which means you don't have to wrap a thing. Just go to Pajamagram.com and grab the perfect Mother's Day gift with free gift packaging now. It's fast, it's easy, and delivery by Mother's Day is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com, and tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
One other thing that I am happy to get to bring in some hopefully new listeners to is the idea of getting to see, or I guess hear, the sausage being made a little bit.
With Joshua Brisco.
I want you to get to see some sports radio sausage being made. Gross.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we can talk about a few of the things here that happened today for the Chiefs. Also, I've neglected to mention this so far. We won't do it alone. We've got two guests on the docket for tonight. We'll talk to Robert Rimpson of Fox4 coming up here in about half an hour, and we'll talk mostly Chiefs draft with him. And then same deal for Tucker D. Franklin, the little Chiefs boy, deputy editor of Arrowhead Report and host of the Referee the Kicker Chiefs podcast. We'll talk to him about the Chiefs draft class, and also we'll do some power rankings with Tucker. We got three good categories today. I feel pretty good about what we're going to be putting out there with Tucker. So that's the plan. Robert at 8, Tucker at 9, Rudy and I here all show long. A few pieces of news today from the Chiefs. One of them happening about an hour ago or so. The Chiefs did sign a somewhat veteran linebacker, Kamali Correa. He was a second-round draft pick back in 2016, selected by the Ravens. He played there for a couple of years. He played a couple of years in Tennessee. Split time last year with the Jags and the Titans. A bit of a journeyman off after being the second round pick that he was, 42nd overall, which is kind of interesting. The Chiefs tend to find guys to fill out the depth chart that had high ceilings like that, which I don't mind at all, by the way. I think that's a pretty interesting strategy. But he had some injury issues early on and ultimately was traded to the Titans for a 6th round pick ahead of the 2018 season for a 6th round 2019 pick. So the Ravens are ready to move on pretty early on there. This, I think, has a chance to be a pretty easy 1-to-1. Like, I will not pretend to tell you exactly where he's going to fit in this defense. I do not know enough about him. I've not learned enough in the last 30 minutes to say, oh, well, maybe he's your Damian Wilson replacement. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure what the Chiefs will have in mind. I'm wondering if we'll maybe we'll get a little baby film review from Seth Kaiser, or I'll be able to take a closer look after the show today. Try to figure out where he's most likely to slot in. But the Chiefs right now have even after drafting Nick Bolton with their first pick of the 2021 draft, the Chiefs have a relatively thin group at linebacker, depending on where you make that cutoff, especially if you think that Bolton and Hitchens are a bit redundant, which at least in year one, I do think that's probably going to be the case. So you have Ben Neiman, Willie Gay, Anthony Hitchens, Nick Bolton. It would be nice to have one more guy, especially if you think that he could be a little bit versatile. Having Correa in to do a little bit of all of that would be nice if he is able to bring a little veteran experience that can just sort of be helpful without hopefully him ever having to start. Clearly, with a highly paid player in Hitchens and 2 second-round picks in Gay and Bolton, and a guy who's been in this defense for a while in Neiman, it seems pretty clear that right now Correa is the 5th linebacker in that group, but I could definitely see them carrying 5 linebackers pretty well.
Z-Man says the player to be cut will probably be Nick Bolton, since they already have a larger version of him and Anthony Hitchens. He then also says he has to go have a bowl of Magic Spoon after he shaves his man parts. Thanks, Brisco.
You may not have heard this if you only listen to the show live or watch the show on the video feeds, but our podcasts are now sponsored by Manscaped, and you can get 20% off your order with free shipping with the promo code ALMOST. And if you do that now, it will benefit us in the long run. Go do it.
Almost certainly.
Will it make your whole situation better?
Almost.
Yes. No, the answer is just yes, actually.
Almost yes. Almost entirely yes.
Almost entirely, absolutely. They make a quality product.
It's very nice.
It really is very good. I got some extra copy points recently, and I admire their stick-to-itiveness as a company, man. They make some choices and what they not only allow, but encourage you to say. I admire them as a company. They really go balls out.
I don't get it.
So Correa could be interesting. I don't know if he would have to beat out Ben Neiman for a spot. I don't know what he looks like in coverage. I don't know if he's going to be a thumper that gives you a little versatility at the Sam position. We'll have to see. But having another linebacker in there for some depth, with no offense to, I'm not even sure. I think Darius Harris is still in the roster. It's maybe he can continue to compete for that spot. Yeah, according to our lads, he is still on there. Could be a final put on notice for Dorian O'Daniel, I suppose, who's still out here for at least one more year, I believe, on his rookie contract. Also, all of those guys need to be special team contributors, so if they all get close to being on the same level defensively, the winner will be whoever Dave Tobe likes the most, I imagine, so something to keep an eye on. Not necessarily a huge needle mover there, but what I think could be, you know what, I'm going to give you the other quickie one here really quick. The Chiefs signed receiver Chris Finke, formerly out of Notre Dame. If he makes a splash in training camp, maybe there's something there. I'm not going to hold my breath about it. I think this roster has some relative depth at receiver, despite not really having a ton of super top-end talent. I don't know if he's out here competing with Garrett Dieter and Marcus Kemp. I don't know what his special teams prowess maybe. I don't know if he's got anything for you in the return game. He would have to really outperform a guy like Cornell Powell to be able to take that roster spot from him, considering that we're talking about one draft pick and one guy that they just sort of picked up even post-draft here. So
he would have to outperform, honestly, even a lot of guys in general, because they like right. Marcus Kemp. They obviously, Garrett Dieter. They feel comfortable with Garrett Dieter, Byron. Like, those are guys who you're really, even though they're lower-level receivers, you really got to impress the coaching staff to get ahead of them. Because like a guy like, I almost said Jody Foster.
Jody Fortson, baby!
Jody Fortson, who they love.
I love.
Who, like, they talk about all the
him.
time.
I don't know if they love him.
I mean, they talk about him. I feel like they talk. I feel like everything you hear is that they, obviously they love the size, the athleticism, but like he cannot break that core up.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure that I get the details right on this. Yeah. So Finke. I guess it could be pronounced either Fink or Funk. I think it's probably Finke. He was at Notre Dame. He's 5'9", about 190, so not a huge dude. Maybe there's a little role that he can work for himself. If nothing else, you can keep an eye on him during training camp. If he's going to make the team, he will do something that will make us more aware of his work before he ends up making that final cut. God bless him. Good luck. We're rooting for him. His nickname is the Slippery Fox. That is powerful.
He should make the team.
I hope he makes the team based on that alone. Nearly an FCC violation, but, rooting for the Slippery Fox. But the addition today that came a little bit after the addition of the Slippery Fox and before the new linebacker, who I actually think has a decent chance of making the roster, depending on how camp goes and everything. They signed former Broncos safety defensive back Will Parks. And I basically used the phrase defensive back instead of safety almost completely off of a tweet from Matt Derrick, who tweeted about him as maybe being slot competition to cover in the slot. But here's the gist of it. So he's on a 1-year deal that could be worth up to $1.13 million, according to Adam Schefter. Not a super guaranteed deal, at least as far as we know right now. Not a super high dollar deal. He seems stoked to be in Kansas City. He broke the news himself, actually. Schefter tweeted about it a few minutes after he himself tweeted about it, which is kind of funny. He was a 6th-round pick by the Broncos back in 2016. Spent a few years there. He ended up getting a 1-year deal in Philadelphia, got hurt, got released, went back to December last year. So, fine enough. 4 interceptions, 72 appearances, 18 starts, 180 tackles. There are 2 very different ways, though, that I could feel about this particular move. Again, noting, just to be terribly, terribly honest, that all of these could end up absolutely coming out in the wash. You might just go, you might be, knock on wood, Lord willing, maybe you're attending training camp this year and you see a Parks in the defensive backfield. This segment is so you know who he is then. But also, I do think that the intent is a very interesting detail here. If the Chiefs are bringing him in to just work with the safeties and to compete, obviously he's behind Tyrann Mathieu, Juan Thornhill, Dan Sorensen. Easy. But then you have a guy like Armani Watts, who's kind of in a relatively similar place to a guy like Dorian O'Daniel, who the Chiefs never really trust to be on the field defensively very often, seem to like them a lot on special teams. They fill out a roster. They're an okay depth piece, but they certainly never reach the ceiling that you started hoping for immediately after draft day. A good thing to keep in mind whenever we're talking about this year's draft class, as we have the liner that we've played, I think, at least once a week the last few weeks. We all got real horny for Traymon Smith, that the fact that most of those guys don't end up doing much of anything at the pro level is, I think, a good thing to keep in mind, so we don't, necessarily expect Cornell Powell to actually be Sammy Watkins at the NFL level. And if he does, great. If L'Jarius Sneed is that guy, awesome, but maybe it's not necessarily wise to expect that all of your draft picks are going to all be all pros. So, again, take that for what it's worth. But if you bring him in to compete with essentially Armani Watts and not a whole lot else behind them there. Rodney Clemens and Chris Lamons, I guess. You find DiCaprio Boodle, whose name has come up as an undrafted free agent mostly because we wanted to talk about his name. You bring in a guy that has played some meaningful snaps at an okay level, but was obviously available for a cheap deal after the draft. Take him for what you can get there, and if he beats out Armani Watts in training camp, fine. All right, that's all right. You know, you may the best man win there. You want to have the best depth you can, especially for a team that likes to play three safeties on the field at the same time quite a bit. That would be perfectly fine with me. What I hope this doesn't mean, and this is sort of, again, taking Matt's tweet and wondering if he knows more than the rest of us do, because he does. If the thought is, you know what, he can come compete essentially with Rashad Fenton, and one of those guys is going to be like your starting slot corner, so you can leave Snead on the outside, and so you win him on the field 100% of the snaps, but you'd rather have him just be on the outside as opposed to being in the slot and then kicking outside whenever there's not a slot to cover. Whenever you're not in a sub package, you still want him on the field. You just keep him outside. If the goal is to have Parks and Fenton competing for the slot job and Ward and Snead are just your starting outside corners, that would be a little bit of a bummer at this point. Nate Taylor did tweet earlier in the day today that the door is open for the Chiefs and Bashaud Breeland, but nothing is imminent right now. We'll circle back, but I thought that there was a very, very good chance that something would be imminent after the draft. And then Matt told us, Monday night, he thought there was a percent chance. A percent, 1%, that they ended up being reuniting this year. But again, Nate said a few hours ago, there's still a possibility the Chiefs sign Bashaud Breeland, but nothing imminent. Nothing is imminent per sources. I think this team could really still use as maybe. I think there are two remaining actual concerns on this roster at this point, and it's all on a sliding scale, right? I guess maybe 2.5, but it's all a sliding scale. Your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Your offensive line is unfair, and you feel really good about your safeties. And you have a group of pass catchers, counting Travis Kelce, that is going to mean that the offense is going to be deadly. And at this point, the defense is going to be, it's going to be all right. Is it going to be great? I don't know, but it's going to be all right. My half there is on the receiver position, wide receiver 2, and just hoping that somebody steps up there and really takes that role definitively. I don't really care who it is at this point. If it's DeMarcus Robinson or McCole Hardman or Cornell Powell or whatever, I just kind of hope somebody ends up being the second receiver out of this group definitively, because they won the job, not because everybody else didn't win it as enough. But because they have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, it's not going to shake the team to its core unless one of those guys gets hurt. If one of those guys gets hurt, you are in trouble anyway. The two spots now, though, that I do look at as being places where they legitimately would have a chance of being exploited at some point in 2021 is at corner and at edge rusher. The rotation of Taco Charlton, Mike Dana, Josh Kando now even is fine, but it would be a whole lot better if those guys were rotating in for Frank Clark and someone else. And I think they know that, because even with Alex Okafor, they still got Emmanuel Agba, and they still draft Mike Dana. Spags wants that rotation of guys, so I'm going to keep holding out hope that somebody ends up being there. Melvin Ingram's a gamble because of his health, but you think, if we can get 8, 10, 12 games out of him, maybe that's enough to justify it. I don't know what that cutoff would be, but you like to have somebody that you feel like you could rely on a little bit, especially when right now, just the truth of the matter is that we're not 100% sure what to expect from Frank Clark. But specifically the relation to the signing of Parks here is that I don't understand why anyone at this point would be really wanting to push Snead out of the slot and to the edge. Again, the best point that I've heard is that, well, you do want him on the field as much as possible. So if you have him running on and off the field for sub packages, now he's playing 75% of the snaps instead of 100% of the snaps, and you can make an argument that he's the best corner on this roster, so you want him on there for 100% of the snaps, but you don't necessarily want him sliding from slot to outside of the slot to outside over the course of a game. I get that. But also, I like watching L'Jarius Sneed blitz out of the slot. I like seeing him be weaponized in that way, and we are so far past the years of your worst corner being the guy that covers the slot, because your worst receiver is no longer always in the slot. You find the elite guys like Calvin Ridley will line up in the slot some. DeAndre Hopkins will line up in the slot. Obviously, Tyreek Hill will line up in the slot. Travis Kelce lines up in the slot. The great pass-catching tight ends, Darren Waller, lines up in the slot.
He's not this guy anymore, but for years, Larry Fitzgerald has
absolutely
just destroyed people in the slot.
And I think that most Chiefs fans, I think I'm probably preaching to the choir at least a little bit, because I think we learned the value of that with Kendall Fuller a couple years back, where there was an argument that maybe he was the best corner on this team and he was predominantly in the slot, and then kind of ended up in that sort of Spags
kind of a
hybrid
almost
role. Yeah. I like the idea of having an excellent player in that sort of hybrid position. I also think Tyrann Mathieu in some ways checks some of those boxes, and you see the value of that there.
I like using players, and I think this is something that gets lost in the NFL quite frequently, like players that are versatile, using their versatility. I think so often, I think coaches fall into the zone of, okay, this is what a guy this guy is good. We want him just to do this. Like maybe we don't want him to do, whether it's because you don't want him to do too much. Maybe you think it's a little more wear and tear, and some of it is understandable, right? Like taking Tyreek Hill, giving Tyreek Hill less carries, or using him a little bit less in punt return because you don't want to risk him getting hurt in a spot where he's not at, you know what I mean, a less valuable spot. That part's understandable. Yeah. I think having a guy like L'Jarius Sneed, who I don't know how difficult it is to play both inside and outside on defense in a single drive, let alone a single game. Maybe it's incredibly difficult. Maybe it's not. Maybe we overrate that aspect. I honestly don't know, because I've never played corner in the NFL. I'd be really curious to see, when we have a chance to talk to Sneed or something, somebody asks what that challenge is like. Because he obviously had to do a little bit of that last year with Bashaud Breeland's suspension.
His role changed before and after his injury.
Yes, and so I'd be curious to see what that is. But I like the idea of having Sneed do a lot of different things. Sometimes playing outside, sometimes playing inside, sometimes almost, I guess, essentially just as an edge rusher. I like that idea. I think there's a lot of value to that. And it seems like we kind of almost we're getting away from that a little bit in the NFL, where versatility is great. You're seeing more of that with Isaiah Simmons, Jeremy Chin. But I like the idea of having a defender who is just insanely versatile and using that.
For me also, there's something to it with Chris Jones. Of going, he's so good in the middle, why not move him to the edge? Well, he's really good in the middle. I like being able to let guys play to their most definitive strengths, and if they have versatility that can be used in different roles. Eric Berry was a great example of using that versatility well, where whenever there was a vacancy somewhere on the roster, he could go be the Band-Aid that would cover up that vacancy. But whenever he could be used as a weapon, he could be a weapon.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit apples and oranges there on Sneed, but it's something that I've been thinking about sort of post-draft, since they didn't add a corner and they haven't signed Breeland. But the other thing there is that I would like for Bashaud Breeland to end up back, because right now there are reasons to be optimistic about cornerbacks 4 and 5 on this roster, and there are also tremendous red flags on those guys. And I might be able to say that about guys 1, 2, and 3 as well. So 1, 2, and 3 right now, whatever order you want. I think it's probably this: Sneed, Ward, Fenton. L'Jarius Sneed looked great. Also, corner is a very volatile position. Sometimes guys fall off. Charvarius Ward is an example of that to some extent. He was really good 2 years ago. He was just kind of okay last year. Had some more struggles. I think he's a very good player, and you can put him on the outside and feel fine about him being your number 2 corner. But The hate on him has moved around quickly enough on Chiefs Twitter that I think maybe you can learn a lesson from that.
He's not quite Marcus Cooper, where he was really good and then just was terrible.
No, he's been better than that.
But you see that volatility almost from a game-to-game standpoint with him a little bit last year.
Yeah, and so I think it's something to keep in mind with Snead as well. And
It's not like a sure thing lockdown. I don't want people to be like Josh thinks Travarius Ward's trash. He's just saying he's not Darrell Revis. He's not a shutdown, guaranteed lockdown corner.
Right, because I think there are probably like 5 of those guys in the league at any given point.
There's ups and downs with them.
With all corners. I think I like Travarius Ward more than
the average person.
Than almost any Chiefs sort of adjacent person, yeah. I think he's towards the top end of guys that still experience that sort of week-to-week volatility because it's really playing corner is really hard and it's a very volatile position. Fenton, I kind of like in the slot, but I'm not willing to have him just be like the surefire starter there because I just don't. I love Rashad Fenton as your 4th corner, and I'm a little more concerned with him as your 3. The issue, though, is guys 4 and 5 here. DeAndre Baker is a first-round talent that the Chiefs have at a great price, and I love that. He also broke his leg in Week 17. So, I don't know that his return is going to be a bit of a tumultuous one and not something you want to be gambling on. And then Bo Pete Keys, you can say they have the tools and they traded up for him and everything last year, traded back into the draft for him last year. I just have no way of knowing if he's ready to be an NFL corner or not. You add Bashaud Breeland, though, and if you think he's number 1, number 2, and number 3, I don't really care. What it does, though, is it allows Snead to play predominantly in the slot, or at least to cover the slot whenever the slot position is, needing to be covered. And also, it knocks everybody down a peg. At least it knocks down Fenton and Baker and Bo Pete Keys down a peg. And I think that is a series of reasons that it's worth adding Breeland, because it makes you better at the top and it makes you better throughout the depth chart. And I'm a little bit confused and a little bummed that the Chiefs haven't made that move yet, because I think it would be pretty obviously helpful.
And one quick thing with him, and even just in terms of why not? The benefit of Breeland over any veteran corner, he knows this defense. He can come in and you don't have to worry about a guy learning a new defense because he knows it. And you know him, which is also, and we get caught up sometimes in does the player know the defense? Spags knows Breeland. He knows what he can do. He knows what he can't do. And then there's a lot of value there.
And I'm not sure why it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'd be curious to know what side, are the Chiefs really high on him, but he's not. He's looking for something else. Is he really high on coming back to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs really aren't in him? I'd be curious what that is.
I would be,
because it makes sense. It just seems to make all the sense in the world. Yeah. Which means it won't happen because the things that we think make sense never happen.
Almost never.
Almost That's entirely never.
No, it didn't make any sense, Rudy.
AEN.
Doesn't make any sense. We'll take a break. Whenever we come back, I don't know, we have 60 seconds to talk about something. We'll talk to Robert Rimpson of Fox4 here in about 10 minutes.
Family Leisure is having our Factory Direct sale. Looking forward to spring for patio furniture or a new hot tub? Family Leisure has factory incentives going on now. Do you want to start a new career? Family Leisure is growing and wants you to join our championship family. If you want to be the best, come join the best at Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Now hiring for sales, service, warehouse, Bobcat operators, and more. Family Leisure, K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
Awesome! Hey guys, remember when you used to look forward to intimacy? Do you find yourself getting anxious or stressed out about it, even avoiding the situation? Studies show that more than half of men over 50 will experience ED over the course of their life. Viagra only works some of the time, and side effects can be brutal. West Coast Men's Health uses acoustic wave energy to treat the real cause of ED. By breaking down plaque, blood flow is restored, and you're back in the game. No pills, no shots, no pain. Isn't it time you put the stress of ED behind you for good? Schedule a consultation today at westcoastmenshealth.com or give us a call.
Call West Coast Men's Health at 913-243-3200. That's 913-243-3200. Call now, 913-243-3200. HSA cards welcome.
Did somebody say triple play? Who doesn't win a triple play? Not only for our boys in blue, but now through the end of the month, you can get an Anthony triple play. That's an AC, plumbing, and electric inspection, all for just $199. And here's the best part. If KC gets a triple play, then you're going to get your money back. Now that's just another reason to want a triple play from Anthony. Visit AnthonyPHCE.com for details. That's AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're into your shows, right? Well, then listen up. With Xfinity X1, you get live TV, sports, and streaming apps all in one place. Check it out. Show me Team USA. It's easy to find what you want, from Disney Plus to Netflix to live sports. You can even watch your DVR from anywhere. You go, Allison Felix! So go ahead. Get really into your shows with Xfinity X1. It's a way better way to watch.
Restrictions apply. Requires digital starter TV or equivalent or above with eligible X1 box and Xfinity Internet. Subscriptions required to access streaming services.
Don't be that guy this summer. You know, the guy with the T-shirt on in the pool. You could still be slimmer for this summer since it only takes 40 days to lose 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's contractually guaranteed program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet plan and workout regimen to help you keep it off for the rest of your life. Not sure if you can do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You're fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you're burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. It's all natural. No shots, no hormones, and no surgery. With offices close by in Overland Park or available from home with live online video consultations. Visit njdiet.com or call 855-5NJ-DIET. Go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
We get so horny for Traymon Smith.
I do not regret that choice of words. I chose it purposefully.
We do? As a fan base, yes! Armani Watts really gets our heart pumping.
Who else is it?
Khalil McKenzie really gets our juices flowing here in Kansas City.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Couple Twitch comments here. Credible Hulk says, we're already crowning our O-line. I think so, because if this offensive line isn't good, I would just be that level of surprised. Like, I do think it's a dangerous game to say, yeah, they fixed their line, they fixed anything before you actually see them play football together. But with the amount they've invested, it would be very difficult for me to see it not really panning out that way. Also from Credible Hulk on Breland, I think with his age, he's still trying to get that last good contract, probably the biggest holdup for him. I agree with that. I think he's probably trying to he's been on one-year deals now since he had the whole, like, infected foot thing that ended up killing his deal with the Panthers. So, yeah, obviously he is still trying to find a multi-year substantive deal. I would give him a multi-year deal if I was the Chiefs for maybe 2 legit years and a third kind of fake one. That wouldn't bother me any. Right now, I'm not sure what the Chiefs' price point is, but I think at this point is the most interesting thing to me. We'll talk to Robert Rimpson about that and other stuff. Chiefs draft next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Camelot Court. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness offers medical aesthetics and IV nutrient therapy, and there is a full-service CBD American Shaman store there too. Start your journey to wellness with Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness. Call 913-227-9150 or go to shamantotalwellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
It's Mr. Truck KC, Tim Grunny Grunhard. Everybody knows I love trucks. Right now I'm helping my friends at Roberts Robinson by personally delivering a vehicle every month to one lucky customer. Buy from Roberts Robinson and you can get me, Grunny, to deliver a vehicle to your house with a surprise gift. There's a reason why customers say just make it easy. Check out the Shop Click Drive to shop online. It's easy. 1. Select that vehicle. 2. Create your deal. 3. Schedule your delivery. Boom, it's there. The Certified Service Department is open for appointments and offering first responder discounts for firefighters, police, EMTs, 911 dispatchers, and healthcare professionals. Roberts Robinson wants to buy your used car. If you're looking to trade in that used car, let us give you top dollar trade-in value. So Mr. Truck says, come see why they make it easy. Call 816-630-3151 or go online at robertsrobinson.com. Chevrolet. find new roads.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Love the new car smell but think the car shopping process stinks? Check out OneRequest.com. Hi, this is Eric Westfall. We started OneRequest in Kansas City to make car shopping easy. We have over 5 million new and used listings. And with OneRequest, you don't share your personal information with sellers until you want to, which means you control your car shopping experience. We even have a concierge service for those who want the VIP treatment. Experience car shopping made easy. Request your car today at OneRequest.com.
OneRequest is not responsible for what you do with all the time you save.
Flyouts for Crawford in the game. The Wine first pitch. A swing on a line drive. It is caught by the shortstop Urias. And John Means has done it in Seattle. He has thrown a no-hitter as the Orioles take down the Mariners 6-0.
Kevin Brown with the call. 105.7 The Fan. The Orioles win 6-0. The Orioles' first solo no-hitter since Jim Palmer threw one in 1969. But John Means, the lefty, it gets a little deeper. He had never gone past 7 innings. He did today, obviously. It's also the first no-hitter in baseball history with no walks, no pitches that were hit, and no errors. So you ask, how did it not be a perfect game? Well, in the 3rd inning, a runner reached via a wild pitch, but he was eventually caught stealing, so it's still 27 outs with 27 batters faced. That's it. John Means going to join Ian Fitzsimmons in a matter of moments on Freddie and Fitzsimmons on ESPN Radio. Meanwhile, fight night, Madison Square Garden between the Rangers and the Capitals, given what took place with Tom Wilson on Monday night. Tonight, line brawl right off the hop. 3-on-3, 6 fights in the first 6 minutes. Right now, the Capitals are leading 3-0. NBA, Boston doing dirty things to Orlando, 117-86. Portland is up by 15 in Cleveland. Phoenix and the Hawks are at the half. Atlanta by 2. Philadelphia by 12. And Houston, Sacramento leading in Indiana, 56-47. Every game tonight, playoff implications.
We're back on Thursday, and now the NFL draft is over. We'll tell you which teams help their young quarterbacks the most. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Thursday morning on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Uh-oh, smoke just started coming out of a CPU. There's a computer on fire, I'm pretty sure.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This headline fully distracted me during the break. Boy 4 accidentally buys $2,600 worth of SpongeBob popsicles on Amazon.
We've all been there.
The lead of this story from the New York Post, that's one way to freeze a bank account.
Why you gotta put my stuff out in the open like this?
That's one way to freeze a bank account.
Sorry, Dad.
Apparently a GoFundMe has been started. I'm trying to make sure that this is... Oh, wow, thank you. The New York Post article does link us to the Amazon listing where you can buy, I guess... I don't know how you end up buying nearly $3,000 of them, but
I don't know how you not buy more.
But this is pretty exciting. So yeah, there's a GoFundMe that I don't think. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, we've covered it. We're all good, baby. The headline of the GoFundMe: Noah bought $2,619 worth of SpongeBob popsicles. It has raised over $4,000 so far. So what this child should be learning is that he is now an entrepreneur.
This dad better praise his kid, buy him all the SpongeBob popsicles he wants because he just made money.
Meet 4-year-old Noah from Brooklyn who loves SpongeBob so much that he managed to purchase all of that worth of SpongeBob popsicles from Amazon and have them sent to his auntie's house. If you're wondering, that's 51 cases containing 918 popsicles. And they're saying Amazon will not take them back. His mom's a social work student who can't afford to pay for them. And bada bing, bada boom. All you got to do is get that story out in the universe. $4,000 raised just like that. This is, of course, what Robert Rimpson expected to be talking about whenever he agreed to join the show tonight. You can follow him on Twitter at RimpSanity. You can see his work on Fox 4 here in Kansas City. Robert, if you had to spend $2,600 on some form of foodstuffs, where do you think you would go?
Man, that's a great question. Probably
I don't know.
Barbecue joint, right?
Ooh, that's very, I'll tell you what, it's good for your Q rating around here, your Q39 rating, you could say.
Yeah, exactly, you know?
Rudy, do you have an answer? I'm definitely jumping this on you without any time to think about it. I'm now, I'll help us all stall, because I don't know.
Yeah, so if I could
But that story, that's not how that story would end if I were that 9-year-old. I'll say that much.
that sort of thing. This is really has broken as well for him as possible.
Absolutely. There is a million different ways this story could end for that kid. This is the one where he wins, right? Like Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Movie, this is the one.
Yes, 100%. Of the millions of outcomes. Because you got to think. Here's the thing: is I think if you got to think about this in terms of one big purchase. And so $2,600 of barbecue, you're not going to get the most out of that. $2,600 of popsicles, you can throw some of those in the freezer.
You know what? In some ways, I guess this kid is smarter than me, right? At least he could put that away. I went to barbecue. That's like going to waste almost immediately.
I guess, you know what I haven't had in a really long time, but I used to love those drumsticks, like the frozen. I'm very much in the frozen aisle right now.
Those are very good.
Those are great. I miss having those in my life.
You know those frozen $1 pizzas? Just a lot of those.
Wow, that's a lot of those. Frozen pizzas is pretty good, though. That's a pretty good answer. You could maybe get a little bougie and spend that on the nice frozen pizzas, the expensive.
And then you got to go to Costco, right? Buy in bulk.
Do you know how many freaking jelly beans you could get at Costco for $2,600?
You would sweep. You would clean house. You would own the warehouse. You
would have to get a second house just to hold all of the food that you had just purchased. This is. I'm gonna keep thinking about this, Rudy. If you come up with a great answer, just barge in with it.
I would probably go with either like the frozen pizzas or just like chicken strips, like frozen chicken strips, because that was always my thing growing up. It'd be probably one of those two.
I could never get frozen chicken strips to taste right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not as good as like going to Slim's, but to me, it's like bad chicken still tastes still good.
Yeah. Hard to do chicken wrong.
The endorsement that I'll make here is that you gotta get yourself an air fryer, especially for frozen food like that. It is a game changer. I did not expect it to be a game changer, but if you're gonna try to like make fried food from scratch and do it in the air fryer, it's not gonna be the same because you're not actually getting the oil. But if you've got basically anything, chicken strips, frozen corn dogs, anything that was fried and then frozen, you put those bad boys in the air fryer for 10 minutes or whatever, it's gonna taste like it was straight out of the fryer again. That will come in clutch for your chicken strip problem.
I can vouch for that because I am in love with Checkers fries because I lived in Tallahassee for a while and Checkers was my go-to spot. So the Checker frozen fries that I have to settle for at Sunfresh, I get those. Pop those bad boys in the air fryer. I'm back in Tallahassee, back in the South. Fantastic Checkers fries. I haven't
had the I don't know if I've ever had Checkers fries in like any form, but I've seen them, and now that's gonna be the new thing on the list. Like, all right, I'm gonna get some of those. I'm gonna throw them in the air fryer. It's gonna be a legitimate experience. So that's
delicious.
Oh,
10 out of 10.
All right, Rudy, you want to host this show? I'm gonna go see if I can find some Checkers fries somewhere. That sounds wonderful right now. That's great. Well, I guess we could talk about draft stuff. I mean, I guess we've gone through the draft class in a pretty similar way over these last few days around here, where we spend most of our time on the top 2 picks. But honestly, the last 4 picks are all in their own ways kind of more interesting. So if you want to throw everybody into a pool here with all of the Chiefs draft selections from this class, is there one guy that jumps out to you where you go, you know what? Maybe it's because he's a high pick. Maybe it's because he's a good value. But, this is the guy right now that I'm most excited about and I spent most of my time talking about from this draft class.
Well, the first guy that immediately popped into my mind was Trey Smith, right?
Yep.
Ultra classic, ultra value pick. Got him low, former 5-star recruit. Obviously, low pick, high ceiling kind of guy, obviously. But I think that people's there's always that one guy that people fall in love with a draft class. Beach's first draft class, it was Armani Watts, right? And I think this second time around, you could say maybe Miko was that guy. I don't know. But I think this year it's Colonel Powell that people are, really falling in love with, that wide receiver out of Clemson. And I can see why. He's got that potential, Sammy Watkins just left, and people are looking for a replacement for him. So I can see why people are falling in love with that guy, and I really can't find anything wrong with him. His game is really good. And, obviously it's easy to look good while you're at Clemson, but he's still a guy that catches my eye.
You've done the thing that so many people have done, I think rightfully, that is so interesting to me, which was pick their last 2 picks. It's such a weird draft class because I don't know if anybody is going to ever answer that question with Josh Kando, who maybe he works out, maybe he ends up being a really good player, but we just don't really know. That was just kind of a shot, and we'll see what Spags does with him. But Trey Smith seems like an absolute nasty, pretty fully formed football player that has some growing that he can do, but if he had to play tomorrow, I think he probably could play a little bit tomorrow. And it was all medical, so it's a great value. And Cornell Powell, he's a pass catcher. We love pass catchers, and he looks like one. He has an NFL wide receiver body, as opposed to a guy like Noah Gray, who we're not 100% sure where he fits. So I think those two guys have gotten most of the hype, and I think it totally makes sense. But it's just very weird that we're talking about picks 181 and 226 like they were the first 2 guys off the board, and they were the last 2.
Yeah, and if you look at these guys feeling take the guy you mentioned, Kando, right?
Yeah.
His ceiling is pretty much like K-Pass, right? Passanio, that's who people think he's going to replace. And, that's not as sexy as, say, what Powell can end up being, which is Sammy Watkins, which is really good, and then Trey Smith, who was a 5-star recruit. It's just not as sexy taking a guy that's supposed to be Tano Passanio over a guy that we're thinking could be what Sammy Watkins was in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. The thing with Kando that's funny to me is that his sort of the sexiest blurb on his resume is that in his high school draft class it was Jalen Phillips, who would have been a top 10, maybe top 5 pick if it wasn't for his medicals, but still went in the first round this year. It was Chase Young, who was number 2 overall last year, and it was Josh Kando. That's crazy, and you would you might draft a guy, not literally out of high school if you had the chance, but basically drafting him off that high school potential, which is kind of what the Chiefs did. It's just that was a long time ago, and with injuries and sort of some issues at Florida State with the coaching staff and all that, it just never fully came together, and so we don't have his high school highlights to go off of right now, and that's also probably not necessarily a good evaluation standard to start with. So he kind of just falls under the radar a little bit, I think.
It's hilarious that you say that because me and Harold Kuntz were talking about it the other day. And if you look for Kando's highlights from college, you see a game Florida State played against Delaware State, which no disrespect to Delaware State, fantastic HBCU, but they were getting smacked by Florida State 70-6. Okay? And that's no exaggeration. And that's when Joshua Kando was getting his minutes. That's not great.
No.
Even Noah Gray was getting minutes, quality minutes against Alabama. That's good tape. Tape against Delaware State where you get 1 sack in garbage time, that's hard to get drafted off of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Wow, that's kind of devastating in some ways also. Look, here's what I'll say on Kando, and then we can talk about the first 2 guys also. But you mentioned Passanio, and also I can't help but mention Breland Speaks. Also, I got a note, just in case anyone hasn't heard me say this 15 times already. Tano Passanio, Breland Speaks, and Joshua Kando are 3 incredibly different football players with different traits and different best fits and all that stuff. They're very different players. This is not me comparing them as football players. But the sort of take a shot on an edge who needs some development, but we believe for whatever reason, whatever trait X, Y, or Z, we think he can actually become something on this roster. That is the thing that all three of those guys have in common. At the very least for Kendo, though, we're talking about that at pick 144 instead of trading up in the second round for Speaks or just taking him in the second round like Passanio. So I'm not hurt about it, although I wish, because the receivers I wanted them to take were gone by then for the most part until we got back around to Powell again, and so that's all fine. But it is a little bit of a mystery box there, but I guess if anybody's going to have a chance to make something out of it, I would be curious to see what Spags does, but that's obviously going to take some time before we know the result there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to say because, last year, you knew that the Chiefs had a potential superstar in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know if they have that in this year's draft class. I'm just not sure. Maybe Bolton will become something, but right now he's being handicapped by the presence of Anthony Hitchens right now, who people are assuming he's going to replace.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as Hitchens is on the roster, he's not going to be a superstar next season, right?
Yeah.
So when people are looking for superstars, last year at least you could cling on to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. However much you hated that value, at least you knew he could potentially become something great. And he kind of did this season. I don't see that in this draft class.
Yeah, because you at least knew he was going to get on the field, and with Snead ended up being on the field a lot. We didn't know that was going to happen. With these guys, I think that's a good point. So let's talk about Bolton a little bit, because that's one of the things that I think is kind of interesting. We've heard a little bit from Brett Veach. He spoke on Monday, where he thinks that he could play at Mike, obviously, because he'll be, again, I think you're right that he's going to be a Hitchens replacement. We talked to Seth Kaiser last night. He thinks he can be a better, cheaper version of Anthony Hitchens, which has value. I just don't know if it's that pick for that value. But also, I don't know. I just don't know what the orientation of those guys is going to be in terms of the linebackers this year, because I don't feel super confident in Willie Gay just yet. I'm optimistic about the potential, but he barely got on the field last year. I don't know that Nick Bolton can actually work in at will. I think Ben Neiman probably gets most of the weak side snaps, and Anthony Hitchens is not going to hand over the Mike linebacker spot to a rookie. So I just don't know what his impact is going to be this year. So it sounds like you have some of those same concerns.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a way, I had already to be quite plain. I thought the Chiefs linebacker core was kind of wrapped up going into this draft. I thought, hey, we're rolling in with Hitchens, we're rolling in with Gay, and they're going to take the majority of the snaps, so the Chiefs don't really have to worry about linebacker. So I was fairly surprised about the Bolton pick.
Yeah.
I have the same concerns that you have, man. I just don't see what kind of impact he'll have this year. But, I mean, linebacker, I guess, Hitchens takes up a lot of the salary cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he was a concern, and addressing concerns is never bad. And he could possibly make the Chiefs better. I mean, like you said, weak side is probably going to be Neiman. I mean, people are always looking for a Neiman replacement. Maybe he's better than Neiman, grabs his snaps, but it's really hard to see what kind of impact he's going to make this season.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. The guy from this class that I guess if I was going to make the week one argument for, it would definitely be for Creed Humphrey. He's going to have to get through Austin Blythe. He's been a multi-year starter at the NFL level. It's by no means a shoe-in. But what did you make of that pick? Also, again, noting the fact that the Chiefs did go linebacker and center with their first two picks, just a handful of picks apart.
Well, see, O-line was obviously the biggest need the Chiefs had in this draft class. So anytime they get a guy like Creed, who I think has great potential at the center spot. I mean, Blythe is great, but he's not the long-term answer, right?
Right.
I think Creed can be that long-term answer, so I'm not mad about that. I mean, Bolton's a little different. He's a long-term answer, but, for a problem that we don't think is so immediate. Creed his spot was a big problem that we needed a long-term answer for, and I think he can be that, so I'm not as upset about that. And he could potentially start right away. There is a universe where he starts over Blythe, and I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I agree. I think at this point, if I had to bet, I think I would narrowly bet that Creed does start week one, because I think that's what the Chiefs would like to happen. But this is the advantage of having Blythe. It's similar to the Lucas Niang, Mike Remmers situation. I think I'm betting that Lucas Niang will actually start their week one because I think that's what the Chiefs would prefer. But if either Niang or Creed get to camp and they go, oh God, this isn't, we don't want this yet. They're not ready. They need some time, whatever. then they've got a perfectly good veteran option that can hold on to that spot for as long as they need to.
Mm-hmm. And depth is so important, and you saw that in the playoffs, especially at O-line. And even when you bring up depth, I mean, linebacker's pretty important. I mean, you've seen how bad the Chiefs were hurting once just Willie Gay, who didn't get as much snaps as people wanted. Once he was down, the Chiefs were thin at linebacker. So maybe that kind of, vindicates the Bolton pick a little more. Just getting depth at those spots is really important, and it really hurt them badly in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's I think also very fair because they were two thinner spots. They did make a couple of little moves today. I don't know if you have literally anything in mind on either of them. They signed the former defensive back from the Broncos, Will Parks, which maybe he's safety depth, maybe he's trying to compete for some slot reps. We'll see. And then also they did add. This is sort of the type of linebacker move that I was expecting from this sort of range of time. They added Kamali Correa formerly of the Titans. Whenever you talk about having a linebacker core that got that thin as soon as you started seeing injuries come through, having him be able to step in for maybe a couple different spots or whatever at a super low cost, that made sense to me. I didn't need to use that second round pick on linebacker, but Brett Veach hasn't called me to run any of his picks by me yet, and I'm not expecting him to start next year either. So
he might though.
He might.
He's got that vindication. Not too long ago.
He can definitely get my number. Like he knows people who know me.
Are you saying that photo is photoshopped?
Oh no, that was real.
Okay.
Yeah, that picture was real. Did you have anything on either of those moves that move the needle for you at all?
Not necessarily. I mean, again, my biggest needs for the Chiefs heading into the draft were O-line, outside corner, edge, wide receiver 2 and 3. And none of those signings really scratched those itches for me necessarily.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm waiting for the notification we get from Schefter that Breland has signed back with the team, right? Because that's what everybody's hoping for. And that Justin Houston is coming on a 1-year contract, right? That's the ideal universe.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to ask you about both of those guys in both of those positions because that's the thing. Breland for me seems so obvious the fit, having him back, and again maybe he's still trying to hold out hope for a multi-year deal because he still hasn't gotten one of those since that Panthers deal went away because of a foot infection. Like he's had some very bad luck that then turned into a 1-year deal after a 1-year deal after a 1-year deal, and I'm guessing the Chiefs are probably offering him another 1-year deal right now. But I think this cornerback group looks really thin without Breland on it.
Absolutely, especially on the outside. I'm assuming the Chiefs want to keep L'Jarius Sneed in the slot because, he's an animal in the slot.
Yeah.
So getting an outside guy that you can rely on like Breland is going to be super important.
So we had just been talking a little bit about Sneed in the slot. I think that makes sense. A lot of people and this isn't like a veiled lot of people, and I'm actually thinking about somebody specific. I'm not thinking about anybody in particular, but it does seem like a lot of people are just sort of assuming that they want Sneed to move to the outside. And the best logic to this is something that Seth had mentioned of like, well, you do want to have him, you want to have your best corner on the field 100% of the time, which is absolutely reasonable. But if you have a chance to have a guy be an animal in the slot that can be the exact type of weapon that a Spag secondary really thrives with, why would you want to force him out of that position?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are a couple of ways that the Chiefs can make moves to make it so that you can keep him in the slot. So I don't see a reason why you can't do that. Lucky for them, L'Jarius Sneed is extremely talented. So if they have the need to, kick him to the outside, they can do that, and he can still be great. We saw that. But to me, in the ideal Chiefs roster, Chiefs Spagnola defense, L'Jarius Sneed is in the slot, and you can keep him there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. You mentioned specifically Justin Houston. We've also, Melvin Ingram visited and then obviously left without a contract. Are you choosing Houston over Ingram there? Do you have a strong preference?
I've been lightly keeping up with how Justin Houston has done with the Colts, and he still looked really good.
Yeah.
Melvin Ingram, if the barometer measure is how well the Chargers play against the Chiefs, he hasn't been doing too well. I mean, granted, he has had the injury bug, and that also is not great. I mean, at this point, I favor Houston over Ingram just because I genuinely think Houston is a better player. There's some slight bias there, I guess, but I genuinely think Houston is even now the better player.
Well, also, to that point, you mentioned the injury issues. That's a part of the equation. Houston played 32 games with the Colts these last 2 years. Like, he's been out there, and they've got to have somebody, I think, because again, we're just agreeing on a lot of things, which is pretty good radio. But I think at this point, the 2 or 2.5 places where this roster could still at this moment be a little bit exploited over the course of the season is at corner and it's at edge. Because for all of those guys that rotate in, I feel very similarly on both of those position groups. Where if your 1, 2, and 3 are Snead, Ward, Fenton, and Clark, Clark, Taco, Dana, that's fine. But if those groups both had Bashad Breeland and Justin Houston added in near the tops of those depth charts, I like all of those guys better one peg down the ladder.
Absolutely, and I feel that same way. Unfortunately, the Chiefs can get away with not having Breeland and not having, Justin Houston, because they could still be the best team in the AFC without them there.
Yep.
And, and as Breach has done the corner group, if he can get away with having value there and just replacing them with cheap veterans at a position, he'll do that. And so as long as the Chiefs are able to keep getting away with it, they might just keep doing that, which is frustrating. But, if it doesn't work, I mean, if it ain't broke, right?
Right. You're completely right, and everyone who says that is correct. And also, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but also making that sort of the reason to not continue like tinkering and upgrading and everything really can be very frustrating. Because also, I know that's not how the Chiefs are thinking. I don't think Brett Veach is saying, you know what, let's not sign a corner because we have Patrick Mahomes. I just want, and like, I like DeAndre Baker, but he also just broke his leg like an hour and a half ago. He broke his leg in week 17. I don't know when he's going to be back. Maybe you're really optimistic about Taco. He broke his ankle last year, and bleep happens. It's difficult being an NFL defensive end at a high level, and Spags likes rotation. So I'm still at this point, I think, I'm definitely hoping and probably expecting them to do something in terms of some more meaningful depth at those positions. But again, I've bet wrong a couple of times on that.
I mean, Josh, what you're talking about right now is building dynasties, right? That's how you build dynasty. You continue improving at positions, even if you're the best. You keep keep the foot on the neck of the competition, right? That's how you build dynasties. I guess I just say the Chiefs are still the best, even if they, don't get Houston and Breeland or whatever. It's just I don't want people, staring at the edge of the cliff, ready to jump, saying, the Chiefs are finally going to lose the AFC West to the Chargers this year because they didn't get Justin Houston, when that probably isn't the case.
Right.
There's some reason for concern. I don't think it's time to, hit the emergency meeting button, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. Right. We're not voting anybody off yet. No, I think that's absolutely fair. The airlock is shut. It's just the little stuff in the margins. Last thing, something that because of all the draft stuff, we just haven't spent nearly enough time talking about, and I've seen you tweet about it a couple times, so you're going to be our excuse to talk about this some. What the hell are the Packers going to do, man? How did they get here, and what's going to happen? If you had to put money on it right now, what do you think? Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is playing in 2021?
So I think the tweet that you're referring to is the one where I'm like, the Packers like 1 or 2 mistakes away from disaster. And it feels like that when stuff like Aaron Rodgers is calling the GM Jerry Krause in group chat. Yes. When that stuff is leaking, disaster is in the air. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if I had to put money on where Aaron Rodgers is playing, if I actually had to put money on it, I'd say he's probably not going to play, right? If I had to put money on it, I'd put money that he's sitting out Le'Veon Bell style. Like, that's where my money would be. Close second would probably be, I guess, Denver, maybe, just because that's the only name that's been floating out there with, like, super strong reporting.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to put money on it, I'd say Aaron Rodgers is sitting out this year and hosting Jeopardy or whatever.
Also, listen, this is a safe space, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He was fine hosting Jeopardy.
I think so too.
He was fine. It was fine. Like he, as a guest host, I get it. He did it. It was a very respectable job, but also that show belongs to LeVar Burton now in my heart. Like it just makes too much sense.
He was very classy about the Green Bay Packer field goal jokes or whatever. But,
yeah. He handled it well. It just wasn't like, oh, you know what? I didn't realize Aaron Rodgers is even better at TV hosting than he was at quarterback playing. No, he was fine. It was okay. He held his own. It's just, he should get the job over Dr. Oz and not over LeVar Burton. That's the power rankings.
I agree.
I'm glad that we've agreed on yet one more thing into the Packers sphere of all these things. Robert, I appreciate you making time for us tonight. One last chance to adjust your answer about what you would spend. What frozen item you would spend $3,000 on if you absolutely had to?
Ice cream. All right. He's won me over. He's won me over. SpongeBob popsicles. I want at least the final answer.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor? This is my final question.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this question. Rudy, I want you to weigh in on this also. We can go around the room. I think, cause for me, the answers are going to be different. I want your favorite ice cream, like as on a standalone, and also the one ice cream that you can eat for the rest of your life. Because I think for me, those are going to be different questions.
Yes, I think they are different questions. Standalone ice cream, I have to go with some kind of cookie dough Oreo kind of thing, right?
Love it. Absolutely.
I like cookie dough in my ice cream. I like especially if they're like Oreo and cream or whatever, cookies and cream. I like that standalone.
Yep.
If I had to eat ice cream every day, I have to go with vanilla just because it's so versatile. You can turn it into a milkshake. You can turn it into a root beer float. You can turn it into a cookie cake. You can turn it into ice cream cake. Right, very versatile flavor. I'm going with vanilla.
Oh, that's such a good, well thought out answer. I think my absolute, treat yourself sort of ice cream is probably a chocolate. It's one of those Ben and Jerry's that's just just on the back of the little cup. It just says this will bleep you up and end your day. Where it's it's chocolate ice cream with fudge cookie dough, fudge brownie dough and some cookie dough. And there's chocolate syrup swirls, just that kind of just absolutely oppressive sort of heaviness and everything.
Iron Man Cookie Crunch, something like that. Iron Man Choco Blast.
Yes. I wanted to know that it'll be the last thing I eat that day before I drift off into a 14-hour sleep.
Exactly.
Your vanilla answer is so good.
It's very versatile ice cream.
It really is. If you can dress it up, I think that you just get the best vanilla you can, and then you can do your toppings and stuff.
I was about to ask, am I allowed toppings? Because vanilla is plain, but you can turn chocolate drizzle.
Yeah.
I'm not a super sprinkle kind of guy, but if you like sprinkles, you can put sprinkles on there. I like whipped cream on mine. Just put that on there. Chocolate drizzle, bam! It looks amazing.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer. If I was gonna, at least my second place answer, I think, would be some form of mint chocolate chip kind of thing. I love a mint ice cream.
We finally disagree.
That's fine.
Mint
I know it's controversial.
It's disgusting. It's so bad.
Disgusting?
It's toothpaste. It's terrible. If I wanted, my food should not make my breath smell better.
Oh, man.
It's terrible.
I'm just a huge mint everything guy. York patties are one of my favorite candies. I'm pretty much, unless I'm talking into a microphone, I'm pretty much John Dorsey, just always going to town, chomping on some gum of some sort, and it's always mint gum. Get out of here. I don't eat juicy fruit in my life. I don't need my mouth to smell like fake fruit. I want it to be minty fresh. I enjoy brushing my teeth. I want my breath to smell good. I want my mouth to feel good. And a little palate cleanser mint chocolate chip kind of ice cream to end a little meal. Oh, it's decadent.
You were those kids in middle school. You would always ask kids for gum because if they had a pack right. You were those kids that had the mint gum, and I had to be like, never mind. I don't want that because that's nasty. That's terrible.
I brought extra gum to share the wealth, but of course it was mint. Listen, man, hold on. Rudy, give me your answer while I look through my backpack really quick.
Yeah, so for me, it's pretty simple. I'm a huge strawberry flavored person, so I want all. Yeah. Strawberry is like my favorite flavor of like anything. So like typically, if strawberry is a flavor that you can have on that, like that's what I'm going with. Love some strawberries in my ice cream. And then that is my general favorite like flavor, and then just like
that's your desert island ice cream.
Yeah, and then and just in general, then just like if it's an ice cream that it's like a kind, it is some sort of mixed berry. Give me the strawberries, give me the raspberry, just give me all the berries, throw them all in there. I like berries in my ice cream.
I thought I might have a third sort of gum container in my backpack. I only have 2 right now. There is definitely more in the office down there. I think I have one in my car. Got a little pack of 5 gum winter mint, and the absolute goat, the icebreaker cubes gum. Oh, absolutely wonderful. The blue one. I think it's also maybe winter mint. Spearmint's also great. It's just wonderful. I don't understand why anyone wouldn't love this.
Listen, it's okay. If I'm in a pinch and my breath is really kicking, I might go for some mint gum in an emergency. But if I'm in the store and I need a pack of gum, that's such a boring flavor.
Oh,
it's like going to work, but gum.
It's like going to. You know what? I don't want an explanation. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna leave it there. And I'm gonna say that if I had to spend $3,000 on something on Amazon, I might just get a bunch of big bags of icebreaker gum. That might actually be my legitimate answer, because I already spend a decent amount of money on gum, because I'm pretty much always chewing it. Robert, thank you for being here, even though your final answers did offend my sensibilities. This will be the last time that you're on this show.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Join my quote on Twitter, @Rimpsanity.
Man, he even got the plug on the way out. Unfollow him to stand up for mint gum. No, do follow him, @Rimpsanity on Twitter. But then do tweet and harass him about how great mint gum is. I'm not even anti like fruit gum, really. I don't need it. I don't really want that most of the time. Oh, by the way, there is an extra. Hold on, Robert's still on the line. Robert, you're back on the air. I want a quick warning here. The all-time best gum. There is a brand of extra gum. The flavor is mint chocolate chip ice cream gum.
That's so terrible. What an offensive flavor.
It's so. So one of these days, I've got my second shot. Eventually, we'll be able to like have guests in the actual studio again. One of these days, we're gonna get you in here. We'll do a whole hour. We'll talk about some nonsense, and I'm going to give you some mint chocolate chip gum. You will have one piece of it. You will hand the pack back to me, and then I will be gifted a pack of my favorite gum, and it's really good for all of us.
I bet you like Thin Mints too, huh? The Girl Scout cookie, the most boring Girl Scout cookie in America.
Who doesn't like Thin Mints?
I think they're kind of overrated.
What are we?
I think they're overrated.
Yeah, but you know what's good, Robert? Mints.
I think Thin Mints are overrated.
Thank you.
They might be overrated, but you know what's not overrated?
They're fine.
You know what's not overrated? God, you guys make me so angry. You know what you can do? Put some Thin Mints in your mint chocolate chip ice cream. You know what you can do? Put a York patty between a couple Thin Mints. You got a chocolate mint cookie, like a cookie sandwich. It's wonderful. Put that dip that in mint chocolate chip ice cream, and then chew gum while you do it. I don't want to talk to either of you anymore. Go to break.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here. Mother's Day is this Sunday, and this year you need to make it extra special because Mom deserves more than just breakfast in bed. So how about super cozy pajamas designed for ultimate relaxation exclusively from Pajamagram.com? The trusted PJ experts who know exactly what moms want. With timeless looks, playful patterns, and luxurious materials, Pajamagram.com is where you'll find the perfect gift for Mother's Day. Super soft PJs that'll leave her feeling cozy, comfy, and ready to unwind. Whether she's a dog lover, a coffee connoisseur, or anything in between, Pajamagram has the perfect PJs for your mom. And right now, Pajamagram.com is including free gift packaging with your order, which means you don't have to wrap a thing. Just go to Pajamagram.com and grab the perfect Mother's Day gift with free gift packaging now. It's fast, it's easy, and delivery by Mother's Day is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com, and tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
Come by Creekmore, one of the nicest upscale golf courses in Kansas City with a beautiful clubhouse. Come by for lunch or dinner at the Tavern on the Moor restaurant and bar, open to the public each day of the week and breakfast on the weekend. The patio is also available to host just about any events. For more information or to schedule your next event, give the general manager Rick Scott a call at 816-331-2621 or visit them at creekmorepoa.com. The Golf Club at Creekmore. Your only short drive of the day will be getting there.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here from my main man, Ed Baldwin, with Community Mortgage. Interest rates are at historic lows. If you haven't taken advantage of the opportunity presented by today's low rates, what are you waiting for? Mortgage rates are hovering around the lowest they've been in U.S. history. Both 15-year and 30-year fixed rates are in the twos. Call Ed now to see how low of a rate he can get you right now. So you could buy a home with a rate in the twos, refinance with a rate in the twos, and even take the cash out on a refi with a rate in the twos. Don't contact a Mortgage Inside Sales call center. Well, they'll give you a number and send you down the line. Call Ed and work with a real professional. 913-825-1999. That's 913-825-1999. For all your refinance or home purchase needs, call Ed Baldwin for rates in the twos at 913-825-1999 or apply online at edbaldwinhomeloans.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, Kansas Licensed Mortgage Company, NMLS number 224143, APRs in the threes.
Looking for the best place to store and show off your car? Come check out the KC Underground. KC Underground is part of the Kansas City Automotive Museum and provides a safe place to store your vehicle with 24-hour monitoring. Call today to reserve a spot underground for your car. Use the promo code 810 and you'll receive a 10% discount. Go to theksunderground.com or call 913-322-4227. KC Underground, Kansas City's car collection.
Preparation isn't an option, it's a necessity. Putting in the time doesn't mean you reap the reward right away. The grind will prepare you to take the path of those who went before you. But to make it farther, it takes more to be next. Be part of the action and witness the next wave of stars on the PGA Tour. The Advent Health Championship comes to Blue Hills Country Club May 17th through 23rd. For more information, check out adventhealthchampionship.com.
Buying or selling your home is a big decision, maybe the largest transaction of your life. So make sure you have a real estate expert on your side. Shannon Brimacombe and Stacy Cohen with Reese Nichols. Brimacombe and Cohen rank among the top 1% of all agents in the city, with over 100 million in transactions in the past 2 years. Dedication and decades in the business. Contact Stacy Cohen at 816-729-7214 and find out why Brimacombe and Cohen are moving people in moving houses.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
We're a buffet today. Yes, that's a great call, and we are absolutely shoving it down your throat.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Thanks to Robert Rimpson for joining the show last segment, I guess. You can follow him on Twitter at RimpSanity if that is something that you feel like you should do.
Jeremy,
go ahead.
No, sorry, Jeremy Jam just says Robert has committed treason.
It is a high offense to take this stance on this show. I've put out 2 poll questions on Twitter. I may or may not bring the early results, but there are 2 distinct poll questions that look very similar, but they are different. How do you feel about minty gum? Love it, like it, not a fan, but it's fine. It's an abomination. Your 4 choices. And then how do you feel about mint chocolate, ice cream, candy, cookies, etc.? Love it, like it, not a fan, but it's fine. It's an abomination.
I don't mean to, like, you know what? Actually, I'm sitting here. I got to do my best Beers impersonation, right?
Yep.
You want to hear a crazy NBA stat?
Whoa, what? I thought for sure this is going to be about at least a food thing.
No. Sorry, this just popped up on my timeline. So after the first quarter, the Knicks have 12 points. Nikola Jokic has 24.
Oof.
I just saw that, and he has 24 points and 6 rebounds after the first quarter, and he has 4 dunks, which is like a game record. It's almost a season record.
Currently, the Suns are getting beaten by the Hawks, and I don't like
coming
that very
for
much.
The Nuggets are coming for that 1 seed, baby.
But here's my crazy NBA stat just for the moment here was from the Suns game last night where they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 134 to 118 in overtime. The overtime period, the Suns won 20-4. I was not watching. You were doing the show. I'm not watching the Hawks-Suns game tonight. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how they got taken to overtime by Cleveland. The Suns seem to be good against good teams and bad against bad teams. I don't really get it. But there's a couple of weird NBA stats for you.
NBA, it's fun.
So Mr. Jeremy Jam on Twitch makes the point that Robert has committed treason. JT says Josh is correct. Thin mints are crack. That's the thing, man.
We're just going to ignore St. Simon's Turtle, who says, agrees with me. Strawberry ice cream, good choice.
Yeah, no, I think strawberry ice cream is underrated.
I think it's a new Twitch commenter, so shouts to St. Simon's Turtle.
Thank you for being here, St. Simon's Turtle. Wow, I also missed this completely, so sorry. I hope that they're in the chat at the moment. But Caden gifted a sub yesterday during yesterday's show, and I missed it.
Caden.
So thank you for the gifted sub sitting out there, Caden. And also Z-Man subscribed for 2 months yesterday. Back at it again with the hottest dudes on Twitch.
Caden makes a good point about that Amazon driver. It's a lot of popsicles to carry.
And also that's got to all be like packed in ice and stuff. By the way, you think about
that's not light.
You know how SpongeBob's gumball eyes are always like by his cheekbones because they're always out of place or whatever? Yeah. Those things, you cannot let those start melting. Those colors are going to run together. It's going to be gross. Did they find freezer space for all those? I have a hard time finding freezer space for like one frozen waffle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
at any given time.
I guess whatever it comes in would be like that would buy you a day or two, maybe. Like the box the packaging it comes in, that obviously has to be insulated in some way. Maybe that gets you a day. Turn the AC down in the house real
all of a
low.
Sudden, you go from
walking around not around the neighborhood. Hey, can we store some popsicles in your freezer?
It's Mr. Popper's popsicles.
Running down the ice cream man, like, hey, need you to hold something for me?
Instead of Mr. Popper's penguins. Hey, you know what? You got to sell those to the ice cream man at like 50% cost. Just be like, hey, man, you give us $1,000 right now, and we're going to give you a lot of popsicles that you can then sell at an upcharge. That's good for everybody, right?
Yes.
So, so JT makes the point about the Thin Mints, right? I do think Thin Mints are very addictive. I also think it's possible for Thin Mints to be both crack and overrated.
I 100% agree with that statement.
Because like I think they also are probably my favorite Girl Scout cookie, and also like some of the off-brand ones are not bad. They will absolutely come through clutch. But I think there's like a mint fudge cookie or whatever. It's just a knockoff Thin Mint. It's very good, especially throw them in the fridge, throw them in the freezer maybe. They're really good. I am absolutely a very big Thin Mints fan. But I'm also not going to like mug a Girl Scout for them.
I mean, I would hope you wouldn't mug a Girl Scout for any cookie, but
I mean, if it was some like really good mint chocolate chip ice cream that she was selling.
I mean, ice cream's fair. If here's the thing, beating up a child for a cookie doesn't feel, that's not good enough. For ice cream, yes, beat up that child.
You can mark yourself on that one. Give Beards a little present whenever he gets back. No, I think I would, less of a mugging and more of a cat burglary, more of a pickpocketing.
You want to punch a little child in the face. I get it.
No, I'm not going to hit a child for ice cream or cookies. But if it, maybe she's making a
chocolate chip ice cream gum.
Maybe she's delivering that to, Mrs. Halliburton at the corner. I needed a last name and I found Halliburton and I don't know.
Tyrese Halliburton.
That's literally
point guard from Iowa State. Just got hurt out for the year.
I didn't know that. That's the only Halliburton I know.
Maybe you knew that because I think I got the notification this morning.
I didn't see it. That is the only Halliburton that I can think of knowing, but that felt comedically like a name I could go to.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I wasn't a huge Tyrese Halliburton fan.
There is a Halliburton though, like in some sort of pop culture.
I can't think of it. If so, I got lucky. But if she's taking that delivery to the Halliburtons, and it's too late for me to buy it and get it the ethical way, maybe the Halliburton's order is going to have one fewer item in it, you know? That's where I'm at more so than a full-on mugging.
Big fan of Halliburton County up in Canada, maybe?
Yeah, huge fan. That's where I spend my summers. No, I don't know. Is Tyrese Halliburton the most famous Halliburton?
When I typed in Halliburton pop culture, it's all Tyrese Halliburton and Halliburton County.
Yeah.
Would you like to know about tourism in Halliburton County?
I would. I also know that you want to take a commercial break.
Yeah.
You don't have anything for me?
Well, I mean, I went to a different page.
Give me one thing from Halliburton County, Canada.
Okay, give me a second. Let's go back.
If you type Halliburton County, the first autofill is Huskies. They're a hockey club. The Halliburton Huskies Hockey Club.
There's some beautiful parks. I mean, gorgeous parks.
The Halliburton
Highlands.
The
That's where you're gonna go.
The Halliburton County Huskies logo is definitely like a more angular ripoff of the Yukon logo. It's not a one-to-one ripoff, but it's definitely based on it, which is kind of weird.
There was a high school that I played against, and obviously high school.
Makes sense. Checks out so far.
They were the Jayhawks, and their logo was just the Jayhawk, but it was like yellow instead of blue.
Can't sue you that way. Legally can't sue you.
That's all it was.
All you gotta do is change the color, and you're home free.
Yellow and red, if I remember right.
That's missing one entire color from the KU logo. Totally different bird, despite being the same name.
But I think like where the Jayhawk is blue, their Jayhawk was red, and where the KU's Jayhawk is red, theirs was yellow. So the red wasn't even in the same spot. So different.
And you played against this high school in high school, you say?
Yes.
Wow, what a story.
Also in junior high.
From Mohawk Eye on Twitter, how have you not mentioned junior mints? A misstep. Just simply a misstep, Mohawk Eye. Please don't hurt me. please don't threaten me. You're right.
We beat the school one time, 79-19. They were not good.
There is a version of junior mints that come out around the holidays that are candy cane junior mints that have a slightly crunchy thing in addition to like within the chocolate coating around the junior mints. I would absolutely rob a Girl Scout for a box of those right now.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Winter is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Building a pool is not a job for amateurs. If you want a pool you'll enjoy for a lifetime, call the pros at Pro-Built Pool & Patio. Pro-Built Pool & Patio is the largest provider of fiberglass pools in the region. Unlike liners, fiberglass pools from Imagine Pools and Pentair Pool Equipment are built to last, and they have over 200 different design options to fit your space. Pro-Built Pool & Patio offers competitive pricing, financing, and the fastest install timelines. Get a free quote by calling 816-786-3893 or go to ProBuiltPatio.com.
If you're thinking about making a career change, then listen to this. Sports Radio 810 has an opening on our sales team for someone who has a passion for selling. With the freedom to move around the city and unlimited control over your income, this is the perfect opportunity for a self-starter. Best candidates possess the energy and creativity to help area businesses grow and prosper. Media sales or sports industry sales experience is preferred. If you're interested in learning more, go to 810WHB.com and search for employment opportunities. Your air vents are packed with dirt, dust, dander, and allergens. And it's going to be time for lots of pollen pretty soon. Peek down one of your vent covers and see for yourself. If you wouldn't eat off of it, I wouldn't want to breathe it either. Clean your vent system with Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zero Res will remove those contaminants and bring fresh, clean air back to your home. Get your Zero Res clean and save $50 off an air duct cleaning package. Zero Res Carpet and Air Ducts. It's the right way to clean. Online at ZeroResKC.com.
A birthstone set in a pendant symbolizes a special day someone was born. An engagement ring center stone symbolizes a relationship grounded in love. Come to Shane Company for superior stones that come from the earth. Natural stones won't lose their value over time. We have diamonds, rubies, and sapphires in over a dozen colors. It's what we're known for. Our meticulous selection process ensures you'll always get the most beautiful loose stone at a direct importer price. Our gemologists examine each diamond and gemstone, and I personally hand-select our rubies and sapphires. Whether you choose a brilliant diamond or a colorful gemstone, your natural stone from Shane Company will be spectacular. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company and ShaneCo.com. Open weekdays 10 till 8, Saturday 10 till 5, and Sunday noon till 5.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Z-Man says, hottest dudes on Twitch. Yep. Hottest takes on sports. Nope. Excellent sports talk. Yep. Entirely sports. Nope. Slim chickens. Yep. Baked potato. Nope.
With Joshua Brisco.
And I don't really know what that's about, but I do look forward to being confused about that liner in 3 weeks.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I did enjoy that liner. I also have several comments and a PSA. Tucker D. Franklin in about 5 minutes. JT on Twitch says, Halliburton is a huge conglomerate that owns many defense contractors. You could essentially outsource a war through Halliburton. That's good to know. Somebody on Twitter, hold on, let me get the credit. Andrew said it's a company that Dick Cheney used to work for. So there you go. I guess that's another data point there. Caden says... There is a Lord Halliburton of Dyerton. Lord Halliburton of Dyerton, or Dyerton, was a Scottish lordship of Parliament that created circa 1450 for Sir Walter de Halliburton, Lord High Treasurer of Scotland. The seat of Lord Halliburton was at Dyerton Castle in present-day East Lothian, which I'm pretty sure is what I was thinking of.
Checks out.
Also, PSA for the mint chocolate fans in the group currently. These are on Amazon. I just tweeted the link. There is a Kit Kat Duos. You can get a box of these on Amazon. It is a mint chocolate chip. Dark chocolate, mint chocolate, Kit Kat.
Buy $3,000 worth of them. Blame it on a kid.
Dude, here's the thing. You could get 24 bars that are like 4 or 5 bars wide or whatever for $17.50. I've bought them before from Amazon, and they're just really good. If you like mint chocolate, you're gonna like them. I love Kit Kats. I think Kit Kats are one of my favorite candies. I love mint chocolate chip things. You guys get it. We'll ask Tucker how he feels about mint chocolate next.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Attention men, over half of you will suffer from erectile dysfunction. There is a solution, the Kansas City Men's Clinic. If you're having trouble getting or maintaining an erection, or both, and regardless of age, medical condition, or performance issue, they can help. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic today and receive a confidential consultation and all testing for only $49. Call 816-608-8189. That's 816-608-8189. Or go to thekansascitymensclinic.com.
Gotta finish this today.
Cristiano's construction projects typically run smoothly, but this project's pipeline is about to burst.
Yo, boss, where you want us to put this? To the left. Your other left. John.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Justin Cole, Private Wealth Manager at Creative Planning. Over the last few years, we have grown to one of the largest nationally recognized wealth management firms in the country. While we are proud of our success, we are most proud of our Kansas City roots. We were founded in Kansas City and remain headquartered here because there's no place we'd rather be. We are Kansas City strong. Thank you, Kansas City, and thank you to our clients. If you're not a client, we invite you to reach out for a free, no-obligation financial review. You can find us at creativeplanning.com or by calling 913-338-2727.
Hey guys, remember when you used to look forward to intimacy? Do you find yourself getting anxious or stressed out about it, even avoiding the situation? Studies show that more than half of men over 50 will experience ED over the course of their life. Viagra only works some of the time, and side effects can be brutal. West Coast Men's Health uses acoustic wave energy to treat the real cause of ED. By breaking down plaque, blood flow is restored, and you're back in the game. No pills, no shots, no pain. Isn't it time you put the stress of ED behind you for good? Schedule a consultation today at westcoastmenshealth.com or give us a call.
Call West Coast Men's Health at 913-243-3200. That's 913-243-3200. Call now, 913-243-3200. HSA cards welcome.
How does your website get noticed among the 1.7 billion on the internet? At Digital Lagoon, we've been making companies stand out since 1995. This past year, more people have used the web than ever before to find exactly what they wanted. When was your site's last facelift? Is it mobile friendly? Does it have an SEO strategy? Is your social media presence designed to drive traffic to your site? Digital Lagoon is the answer to all these questions and all your creative and marketing needs. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Sports Talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. The power of sports.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Wickster. Let's get you updated on the NBA tonight when there are 9 games in the association. 9 games, and all of them have an impact on the NBA playoff chase. We start in Milwaukee, where the Wizards are taking on the Bucks. This has been a real good game. They've gone to the fourth quarter. It's Milwaukee 103, Washington 98. Bucks right now are sitting in the 3 spot in the Eastern Conference, but only 1 back of Brooklyn in the loss column. Washington, meanwhile, has a chance to move into the number 9 spot in the East. They're currently 10th. That's if Indiana loses, which they are, but Washington would have to win. 103-99, fourth quarter. Sacramento is leading Indiana 97-78. They're in the fourth quarter as well. Knicks' 6-game road trip is continuing. They're already 2-0 on the trip, but this is where it gets harder. Denver, Phoenix, Clippers, and Lakers are the next 4 games. Right now, Denver's just up 56-33. They're in the second quarter. San Antonio and Utah. Utah's up 26 points at the half. Not even at the half. Still 2 to play, 66-40. And given the fact that Phoenix is down 15 in Atlanta, the Jazz could go a game clear of the Suns by night's end. Philadelphia, by the way, housing Houston 125-101. Sixers started the night a game and a half clear of Brooklyn. Could go 2 up by the time the night is done. Memphis and Minnesota, it's been a good one throughout. 6-point game right now, 113-107. They have to play with 9 to go in the fourth. Memphis is tied with Golden State for the 8th spot in the NBA's Western Conference playoff chase. Fight night at Madison Square Garden, 12 fighting penalties between the Capitals and Rangers in the first 5 minutes of the game. And John Means of the Orioles threw a no-hitter this afternoon.
It's Greeny and Thursday. You think you know everything about what happened in the draft and why it mattered? Think again. Todd McShay will join me. Don't miss a minute. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at Harrys.com, only with promo code Petro.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Tucker, what's your number one type of ice?
Vanilla.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
That one just really pisses me off. That one, I just didn't see that one coming. It just really gets me. Tucker D. Franklin joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. You can see all sorts of his work up on arrowheadreport.com. Deputy editor there, the host of the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. You can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Roughing the Kicker. Every single day, Chiefs audio content there via Tucker and the Arrowhead Report gang. I think, and he's also, of course, the president of Power Rankings. We'll get to some Power Rankings in a little bit there as well. Tucker, how did you enjoy the draft process, actually having the draft happen and then having the results and everything after spending so much of our collective lives before that learning about just a ton of prospects that we can now basically delete from our memory banks?
Yeah, that's the funniest part. As I was thinking about this today, I thought, man, how many pictures of athletes do we have now in our database that we have that don't even matter to the Chiefs? How many articles do we have that don't even matter to the Chiefs anymore? All of our work is very arbitrary, I guess, but that's just the business that we're in. Hey, I thought it was cool that the Chiefs finally did a whole draft where I knew everybody that they drafted. Because even when I have done some, like last year, did some work prior to the draft, they still drafted guys I had no idea. Mike Dana, who's that guy?
Right.
Pete Keys, who's that guy? But they drafted all these guys that I already knew their names, so that kind of worked out pretty nice. That's the benefit of it.
That's also a nice advantage of, one, not having a 7th round pick, and 2, having a 6th round pick who was falling for kind of weird random reasons. That keeps that streak clear. But you're right. I mean, there's just a lot of guys. And here's the thing: is that it will be nice in years to come, even if they don't end up ever impacting the Chiefs directly. Like I had an opinion on a number of top picks that may or may not end up directly playing against the Chiefs. Probably will at some point. We'll see. Rashawn Slater here or there, so we'll know what to expect. But even the guys that we don't know, it's kind of funny going back and looking at like the 2018 draft. I'm going to be doing it at some point for an article, I think, here pretty soon. Looking at the whole draft class and being like, wait a second. The Chiefs took Breeland Speaks instead of this guy. I don't know anything about this guy who went after him. I just know about Breeland Speaks because he's the guy the Chiefs did take. So maybe there'll be some merit, to knowing who these players were in retrospect.
I would like to think that my work is going towards something, but you can never guarantee that anymore. But I do think that you're right. I've already started 2022 draft prep.
Oh.
Do you know how many names I'm going to have in my head that aren't going to land on the Chiefs again? So it's just going to be one of those things that this is a vicious cycle.
It really is. Yeah. We went through this, was it yesterday's show? 2 days ago, I think, where we had a little conversation about how meaningless all of this is on some level and how, think about radio before podcasts. You just said the words.
Like life, and we're all just
and also
life.
Dust and this incredibly massive universe.
Dust in the end.
You see
and the wind.
You
Why
see,
I say end, I don't know. I mean, we are dust
also,
in the end as well.
Yeah, we're just space dust. Here's the thing.
We're just little dust boys.
We're sacks of meat with electricity in our top meat sack. Like that. I mean, what are we doing? And we're talking about a game that meat sacks play. And we're talking about it in microphones that send it out over airwaves, over radio waves, and then immediately disappear after being heard. Like they can be perceived only for a moment. And we're all slaves of the algorithms. I mean, it's a tough existence that we all share.
Speaking of algorithms, as Twitch just pointed out to me, go follow Tucker on TikTok.
That one's not Tucker D. Franklin. That's the only one that's not Tucker D. Franklin. It is Pikachu Mixtape.
Such a good name. I did not know that. That's very good.
It's really good. It's a very good TikTok name. Have you kept up all the TikTok trends? Have you had any new TikToks recently? I haven't. I gotta be honest. I'm a little bit of a boomer when it comes to TikTok. I have not kept up.
Little cheggy, huh? I learned that word. That's a Gen Z word, a new one.
What is it?
I've been using it a lot. Cheggy.
What is?
Yeah. So I
spell
actually
that?
just
What?
learned about this word as
Is it
well.
CH? What?
Chuggy.
Yeah.
Or it's
So-
chuggy. It's chuggy. It's pronounced chuggy.
Yeah. So, what it is like it's stuff that like millennials do that like Gen Z call it chuggy. You know, like for guys it's like going and hanging out at Buffalo Wild Wings. That's like chuggy.
Yeah.
Or like going to Starbucks for girls is chuggy. It's like basic essentially.
It's the new basic.
Yes.
It's moving so fast. Right now I feel
I
right.
learned
You know
about
what?
this on a podcast about a week ago.
I feel like
Yeah.
Steve Carell in Evan Almighty looking at the mirror and just watching my hair and beard go white. I feel like I'm in one of the Santa Claus movies and I'm just aging before my own eyes.
Yeah, you're Tim Allen in the claws.
I still haven't figured out how to spell it.
Where he just wakes up one day and he's like, "Whoa, I have a belly."
What? How do I spell it?
I think it's Chueggy. I think.
Yeah, I tweeted it like today. Somebody responded to Jordan and I's video about today's roughing the kicker and said, "Where are your mustaches?" And I was a little perturbed that he said that because neither Jordan and I can grow a mustache, obviously. And I said, "Those are chuggy."
I believe.
I'm not 100% sure.
It's EU. It's CHEUGY.
I believe this phrase gained popularity in the New York Times. I believe there's an article about
the
it.
word you need when passé or basic just won't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so can you give us, all right, here, this is, all right, you know what? I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me, this is from The Guardian, can you give me some examples of things that are chuggy?
Yeah.
The list is subject to change, but at the time of going to press it, it includes girl boss energy, barstool sports, sneaker culture, saying I did a thing, Minions memes, and silly week captions. I don't even know what that is. That one missed me completely. That one came in and out, but I don't know what SYLLY means. That one went through its entire life cycle without me noticing, which is pretty alarming for me. But I did a thing, and hashtag adulting.
You're very chuggy is what you're trying to say?
Those are both very chuggy, apparently.
Yeah.
They are.
You're a chuggy boy.
I'm glad that I can keep you guys in the know of the young vernacular.
I knew about chuggy before you, Tucker, to be fair.
Well, you just knew it before I said it.
I knew about it about a week ago.
I'll be smarter. About a week ago.
But Josh absolutely needs you. This is why you're the little chief boy of Arrowhead Report. You keep Josh on the trends.
I just felt like...
You feel old now, don't you, Josh?
I just didn't think I got this old this quickly.
Now, don't you? It comes fast, boy. It comes fast.
I know about poggers. Is that not enough?
You go to bed one day, you'll wake up the next day, you're Santa Claus.
This is not girl boss energy at all. This is so confusing. My Minion memes. It's really It's just moving. It's moving too fast. We're gonna do power rankings with Tucker next segment, but I wanted to ask him about some actual draft things, and then I realized that I'm ancient, and now I'm
chuggy,
and now I'm ancient and chuggy, and I'm for some reason I feel as old as the concept of sports radio now, as opposed to being the young new thing that's doing it differently. I feel like now I'm out of here talking about. I'm washed, but I'm actually chuggy.
You ready for that pumpkin spice?
This sucks. Tucker, tell me something about your overall feeling about how this draft class panned out. If we go super big picture without getting into the specifics of any of them too much.
Yeah, well, heading into this draft, I just had this big looming fear of existential dread coming into it, just because of something's going to go wrong. They're going to draft some guy from some school I've never heard of, and it's going to be in the third round, and I'm just going to be upset for a little bit is essentially what it was going to be, is my feeling. But they didn't do that, and it kind of sounds weird to be surprised that Brett Veach did something good, but when it comes to the draft, now he necessarily hasn't had the best what do you want to call it, track record of drafting players. So I think he's progressively taken the right steps to make a good draft class. Listen, 2019's draft class was good. They got a lot of solid contributors out of it. 2020's looks like it's going to be good as well. And now it's 2021. Years are tough. But
2020 is so chuggy.
It is. It was, really. Just the worst.
Did I do it?
I think you did. I think you got it.
You can continue. Sorry, I just needed to try to redeem my youth.
It's okay. But I did like the selection of Creed Humphrey. You know I'm an offensive line guy, so seeing that guy go in the second round of the Chiefs was a bit of a surprise to me because we've done a lot of mock drafts at roughing the kicker, and he was usually never there at 63. I always thought he was going to go in the 40s to 50 range right there, but when he was there at 63, it was kind of like one of those no-brainer picks for the Chiefs, especially because they needed a long-term center. That's not Austin Blythe. Austin Blythe's only going to be in Kansas City for a year more than likely, unless something unforeseen happens. And I also like Trey Smith, too. I think Trey Smith has the potential to be the absolute steal of the entire draft, kind of like L'Jarius Sneed was last year. I think Trey Smith has the potential, especially as a sixth-round pick, to be a day-one contributor, honestly.
Yeah. So, I mean, the remaining spots there on the line are pretty much all that was left open, but I do want to talk to you about the linemen because, as you said, that's the kind of your sweet spot, kind of your wheelhouse. And in this case, I think for Creed Humphrey, I don't want to spoil anything where we're going to get in our power rankings next segment, but I think it's at least very reasonable to be excited about him and the fact that he will be able to compete against Blythe, where it will not be a shoe-in. He is not. This isn't Creed versus, no offense to Nick Allegretti, but it's not Creed versus Allegretti where you say, well, clearly one of these guys is.
It's Apollo.
Is brought in.
That's a bad joke. I got to mix up. It's Rocky. That's my bad.
You're a boomer.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That was a real chuggy right there.
No, we can't keep saying chuggy. It's going to lose all of its meaning. I'm going to go from not knowing what it means an hour ago.
I'm sorry. I interrupted.
Sick of it now.
I threw it off track, and I didn't even get the joke right. It's losses all around for me.
Oh, sheesh.
Sheesh indeed.
That was not very gamer mode of you.
This segment, listen, man, there's some other stuff going on that we can't talk about. Man, I don't even know if Tucker knows about what else is going on right now.
I don't even know what just really happened.
But it's just a lot. There's a lot happening, and I just want you to talk about Creed Humphrey.
Okay, fine. You got me. You twisted my arm. I will talk about Creed Humphrey. The podcast that I have coming out tomorrow for Roughing the Kicker is with Seth Kaiser.
Heard of him.
Seth Kaiser. Yesterday, I believe, right? That was yesterday?
Sure was.
Kind of mixed together. Okay, cool. So we talk about how Creed Humphrey's path to a year-one contributor is pretty clear, right? You can see it. But also, Austin Blythe has been a very solid contributor on an offensive line in the NFL for 3 years. That's hard to shake if you're Creed Humphrey. He's coming in not facing any pro competition. Austin Blythe's coming in not knowing the system. I think that they are kind of on the same playing level in the sense of coming into the Chiefs system and competing there. So that's going to be one to watch. Another one I'm going to be really interested to watch is the Trey Smith battle. Like, if he is better than Kyle Long, if he is better than LDT, both of those guys are coming off of not playing football for a year. And you got Trey Smith, who, does have blood clot issues, but hasn't had blood clot issues for 2 seasons, according to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really worried about the blood clots when it comes to Trey Smith. I know you wanted me to talk about Creed Humphrey, but I don't think I can talk about Creed Humphrey without talking about Trey Smith.
Yeah, I'm fine with that because I think, like I said, with Creed, I very much like the idea also of just having a guy that is the center for Patrick Mahomes for 3, 4, 5 years, maybe 10 if things go well, whatever, right? I'm excited about that idea, and then also if you get yourself perhaps a starting guard in the 6th round, of course that's excellent. The only thing right now, really, like the Chiefs, with the exception of left tackle, I think you could build 2 starting offensive lines that would hold their own out of the Chiefs' current offensive line depth chart, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it's really leaps and bounds from where we were, 2 weeks ago. If you think about that, it's kind of crazy how fast it all came together because the Monday, I believe, was that the Monday of draft week? Or it was something like that, where the Orlando Brown trade came through.
Friday.
All of a sudden they have a left tackle.
Friday before, yeah.
Friday, okay. I knew it was very close, but it just came through, and then all of a sudden they have a left tackle. The draft opens up. Now they can go wherever they want in the draft. And then you see them draft the center, and you're like, okay, well, why did they draft the center? Then you start thinking, oh, my goodness, the center they just signed is only here for a year. That makes a whole lot of sense. I know, like, when I saw it, I was like, why did they draft a center? They just completed their offensive line overhaul. And I was like, okay, continually getting better, all that jazz, yada, yada, yada. And I think that Creed Humphrey ends up being a really good pick. He's a good value at 63, too, in my opinion. Some people, I guess I'm higher on offensive linemen than a lot of people in the country are, but probably besides Duke Manyweather and Jeff Schwartz and Brandon Thorne. I'm right there with him on the value of offensive linemen. But you mentioned, man, solidifying that center position and that center and quarterback relationship for the future for Patrick Mahomes is going to be so big. I know that he's had Austin Ryder, but having like a young guy who hasn't allowed a sack in over 2,000 snaps is going to be absolutely huge because Creed Humphrey's really good. He's a good offensive lineman. I know that kind of sounds, basic to say, maybe a little chuggy, but he can find work. He can flip his hips even when he's beat. He's not beat. That's the thing with him, and I really like about Creed Humphrey, man. He's just so good.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. You're a Mizzou guy, and so you have you had a pre-existing opinion of Nick Bolton. What did you think whenever that pick came through, and what do you think the Chiefs are getting as someone who did watch a good amount of him?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me because I tried to separate those, right? I tried to say, well, honestly, when the pick came through, I was like, oh, that's sick. Nick Bolton, one of my favorite college players, is going to play for my college. Or is going to play for holy cow.
Well said, Tucker.
The professional team that I
Real
cover.
chuggy out here.
We got to stop saying the word chuggy.
We do. I think that's our mid-year resolution.
So
no more chuggy.
So the Chiefs drafted Nick Bolton, and it was your favorite from the team that you and now it's the team that you and they drafted Nick Bolton.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think I could have said it any better myself. I think that Nick Bolton, what he brings to the team is a lot different than what the Chiefs have on their team, if that makes sense. Yeah, he could be like Anthony Hitchens, something like we talk about that. I know that we said, like, what is his comp, right? What is his professional comp? Still yet to be seen what his professional comp can be. But I really think, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out here and shocks the world. Maybe this is my pre-existing Mizzou bias, and starts at Mike linebacker. I know that Spags doesn't like to have rookies on his defense. I know that's a thing. Nick Bolton's a smart linebacker. He's a smart football player. That's one of the things that really sticks out to me when I watch him play football is that this dude knows about football. He knows what he's doing. He knows what the offense is going to be doing. And that's really encouraging to see the Chiefs take a smart linebacker. They can kind of anticipate the departure of Anthony Hitchens, right? That's kind of what they're doing, I think, with the pick of Nick Bolton. It's going to be a cheaper Mike linebacker for the future. They can cut not Nick Bolton, holy cow, cut Anthony Hitchens. So many names that I have to talk about, but they can cut him for the future, save some cap money. Then they have a cheaper guy in Nick Bolton to play, and he plays really downhill. I like his physical style. Him and Willie Gay are going to be really fun once they get on the field together because both of those guys like to hit people, and this defense could be extremely fun to watch in next year and the coming years.
So at this point, I would be surprised if he starts at Mike linebacker, but you say it that way, and the one thing that I guess I'll say it here this way now, so I'm covered either way come training camp. If we got a day at training camp where Bolton is working in at Mike, I guess Hitchens is probably moving over to Sam just because I don't love him at Will, but I think he actually might have spent some time at Will in Dallas. I'm now speaking absolutely right out of my chuggy, but if you start Bolton at Mike and you have to kick Hitchens out to one of the other spots, I think at this point Willie Gay operates a little bit without a position at this point, and Spags will tailor his needs to the player oftentimes, where I don't know that that Willie Gay is quite the thumper you necessarily want at the Sam spot, and I would like to see him on the Will side, but he's spent more time at Sam, and currently it seems most likely, also based off what Brett Veach said, that maybe Bolton starts at Will and Gay starts at Sam, and Hitchens stays in the middle. What do you make of that? Of just sort of that puzzle that they'll have to put together, both in let's say 2021, your most likely guess, and then also in the future when we do assume that Bolton probably is at Mike and Hitchens is elsewhere.
Yeah, now when I said that I wouldn't be surprised if he would be the starting Mike, I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen, right? I think that I'm just saying that, like, Nick Bolton has the smartness. He's got the IQ to play Mike linebacker. I think that's where he is for the long term.
Yeah.
But I think that he is such a smart linebacker that you try to figure out how to get him on the field. And I remember when his pick was first announced, I thought, I don't know how many snaps this really takes away from Ben Neiman here. And I think that now starting to think about it a little bit more, you know, Nick Bolton is a more athletic Ben Neiman, essentially, and he's smart. That's what the Chiefs like. They like their smart linebackers. So I could see him playing really the Will, I think, or the. Where did Willie Gay end up playing last year? I can't remember. Was it the Will he played a little bit?
Well, so that was I think the plan would have made sense to play him mostly at Will, but he ended up playing at the Sam a decent amount. He played it that's something that Seth and I were talking about off air, because I was trying to run by him like, hey, do I sound crazy here? But he did make up the point that like. Spags asked him to play the Sam position very differently than like Reggie Ragland did, so it is a little bit of a moving target. They talked about him playing that buck role some in sub packages, but also he just got so little work that I don't feel like we learned all that much about Willie Gay last year. Maybe I need to go back and look again, but that's sort of my current working thought.
I think the situation with Willie Gay and with Nick Bolton are a little different too. I mean, Nick Bolton was an all-SEC guy, and I mean Willie Gay didn't get that much run in college. So you're dealing with two different types of players too. I mean Willie Gay can still play downhill. Willie Gay is really fast sideline to sideline. Willie Gay can hit people. Nick Bolton does all those things too. I do think Willie Gay's a bit better in coverage, so that might take Nick Bolton out of it just a little bit. But to be fair to Nick Bolton, he wasn't asked to do a whole lot in coverage at Missouri. Right. It is basically just drop down in the middle of your zone right there in the middle of the field, make sure no one catches the ball. I'm curious to how he does at camp and to see how he does in different coverages there, because he could be a really good coverage guy, even though he wasn't asked to do a whole lot at Missouri. So I think this camp's going to be really big for Nick Bolton, and I think that the pick of Nick Bolton makes sense, too, when it comes to depth. You're looking at the Chiefs' linebacking depth chart. It is thin. After Ben Neiman, you're looking at Darius Harris maybe, and that's about it.
How dare you? How dare you gloss over Kamali Correa?
Well, that was before the signing.
He's here, baby.
Before the signing, I know he is.
The depth chart is rejuvenated.
All 84 tackles and 8.5 sacks are here.
They sure are.
Years.
Banging down the front door.
More tackles and sacks than Nick Bolton in his MLB, sorry, NFL
Boy,
career.
you got to sit down too now.
Yeah,
Rudy.
this
has been a real chuggy segment.
Really struggling.
Oh.
I'll take a nap.
We got vaccines pumping through our veins.
I'm a half vaccinated man. My brain's only working at half capacity right now.
I got my second one, but I'm not. I just got it. My armpit's still slightly puffy. There's some stuff happening elsewhere in the sports world. Tucker's teaching me new terms that are going to go full circle. We are going to make the word chuggy by the way that this segment has treated it.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate to point this out. Not appropriate. I think it's my responsibility. You're doing great, Tucker. This is me. I'm struggling. This is not you. It's me.
He's doing okay.
I think you're doing great.
It's not his best work.
I did have a stroke, so...
He did forget how to speak for a second.
Well, I mean, hey, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost the entire... He didn't... His train of thought was not derailed. His train of thought blinked into a different dimension and never came back.
You're doing about as well as... You know what? I'm going to give you the same grade I'd give the Chiefs draft. You know, it could be better. They just decided to draft a middle linebacker to be a backup.
Yeah. I don't
Ready
love
for
that,
the Mizzou
honestly.
fans to attack.
Can I address a Twitch comment, Josh?
Oh, yeah, I'd love that.
So I do have the Twitch up at my home because, I'm a hip kid. Mr. Jeremy Jam says, I don't see massive upside. His ceiling is basically Anthony Hitchens and Reggie Ragland hybrid. That's interesting that you don't see that. I think that he is a really good football player. And what's wrong if he is Anthony Hitchens, right? I mean, if Anthony Hitchens is a solid football player, there's nothing. That's what we ask for, right? Is solid football players to play for your team. Is Anthony Hitchens is a good football player. I believe he was a Pro Bowl alternate this last year and the year before. So knocking on the door of the Pro Bowl. But if we're expecting Nick Bolton to come in and be a Pro Bowl linebacker, then that's, I think, where we're going wrong.
A cheap Anthony Hitchens is a very valuable asset for a defense. I do want to point something out, though, JT, who's watching. Jamin Davis was the best linebacker in the conference. It's the reason why he got drafted in the first round, not Nick Bolton. I've got my Kentucky thing in.
We got Kentucky. I mean, boy,
keeping the streak alive.
You got your Kentucky reference in. You've harshed the mellow of the Chiefs' first draft pick. I've aged 1,000 years. We haven't done any power rankings yet.
Yeah, we should break soon and do that.
Let's do that. All right, Tucker, don't go anywhere, or do at this point. I mean, good Lord. I mean, it's not your fault that this hour has been as bad as it has. It's just...
Here's the thing.
You didn't save us. I'll say you didn't save us.
I'm fine with pushing off the blame when I can. It's like 80% me.
I don't know. I think it's like 80% Angel Hernandez, if I'm being honest, but that's really sort of out into a different atmosphere.
50% Angel Hernandez. I'm going to say 20% me, 20% being halfly vaccinated.
Halfly?
Halfly vaccinated.
Halfly?
And then 5% each of you and Tucker.
Halfly is not
I'm a
word.
halfly vaccinated man with a halfly vaccinated brain.
All right, I'm on a website right now. Halfly, it says, has the meaning of only half as much or not fully. But it's not a word.
Halfly is.
It's zeroly a word.
It ain't not halfly.
Oh, my God. Tucker, do you want to say a joke that we can go to break on? Because at this point, I don't think Rudy or I have anything left in the chamber.
It's kind of tricky to end on breaks.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
you bleep that up! Go to break!
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
If ever there was a time to give that special someone in your life the gift of spa, it's now. Par Excellence gift cards can be purchased through our website or our Par Excellence app. Par Excellence Salon and Day Spa. Our spa experience will deliver stress relief and pure relaxation.
The natural way to look beautiful. The beautiful way to look natural. Par Excellence.
Hey folks, it's Lebo here for CertaPro Painters, my favorite painting company. I've been working with them for years, inside our home and outside. They always nail it, perfect every time. Now why is that? Well, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so they really care about our community. Your satisfaction is important to them. You can start the process of getting a bid right now by logging on to CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You can schedule a free estimate and check out all the services CertaPro Painters has to offer. Spring is here, so it's definitely time to get on their exterior painting schedule. We just got through a winter with plenty of snow and those extremely cold temps. Weather like that can take a toll on your paint, especially around your windows. You've got to protect what's likely your biggest investment, your home. CertaPro Painters can help you with that, just like they did with me. My exterior still looks great years after CertaPro painted it. But they don't just paint homes, they can help you with your business as well. It's CertaPro Painters. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com right now. That's Certa with a C.
Hi, this is Jim announcing that May is barbecue month at Smoke and Fire. Weber is barbecue. Smoke and Fire has the region's largest selection of Weber charcoal, gas grills, and smokers. Charcoal grills starting at $37.99. Gas grills as low as $75. Don't forget to treat yourself to a new tool set and grill brush. Think family, Think friends. Think smoking fire.
Is finding the clothes that you love in just the right fit and size an overwhelming task? Experience a new way to shop with Stitch Fix. Our experts hand-select pieces so you can get the ease of personal styling from the convenience of home. Every piece is curated just for you, for staying home or on the go in your unique style. With Stitch Fix, there's never any subscription required, and it's delivered right to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
I need these boxes in bin 7. Oh, hello. Hi. I just wanted to call in and find out when next...
Whitney's warehouse foreman just retired, and the replacement needs to move to fulfillment.
Hold on. Guys, can we get the dock cleared now?
Indeed can help her hire the people she needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, it's Corey Anderson, and this Thursday I'll be at Euro Select Cabinets and Decor. Their Memorial Day sale is starting now. They're offering 5-day kitchen makeovers, including countertops, faucets, sinks, and backsplash. That's right, Euro Select Cabinets and Decor can transform your kitchen in just 5 days. And if you're looking for new cabinets, they can handle that as well. Come see me at the Euro Select Cabinets and Decor showroom on the corner of 99th and Lackman Road this Thursday to learn all about their custom remodeling services.
Looking for the best place to store and show off your car? Come check out the KC Underground. KC Underground is part of the Kansas City Automotive Museum and provides a safe place to store your vehicle with 24-hour monitoring. Call today to reserve a spot underground for your car. Use the promo code 810 and you'll receive a 10% discount. Go to theksunderground.com or call 913-322-4227. KC Underground, Kansas City's car collection.
After such an extraordinary year, it's time to celebrate the most extraordinary member of the family, Mom. Diamonds Direct invites you to join us as we say cheers to the mothers in our lives. For this Mother's Day, we've put together an exceptional collection of affordable and meaningful gifts for any budget. Birthstone rings, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. So cheers to you, Mom, for being such an incredible partner, for learning to be a teacher in the past year, for keeping the family healthy and safe, for always putting everything else first. This year, more than ever, she deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Diamonds Direct, that's our specialty. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come. Why not surprise her with a bigger diamond for her ring? Come let the experts at Diamonds Direct help you find that remarkable gift that says, cheers, Mom, for all your remarkable efforts over the last year. Diamonds Direct at 119th and Row.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Think outside the box. That's my tip. And don't take yourself too seriously. Too very
That was
serious.
a pretty serious answer.
With Joshua Brisco.
Do as he
Well, I
says,
mean, he
not as
wasn't
he
the
does.
smart interchin.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
There's just a lot happening still, man. There's just a lot happening. Tucker D. Franklin's still on the phone with us. He was joining us last segment as the deputy editor at Arrowhead Report and the host of the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. He's now joining us as the president of Power Rankings. Oh, Rudy, do you have the music? Beards is out tonight. Rudy's on the other side of the glass.
I mean, I might be able to get something.
Could you whip something up for us really quick?
I can try.
Could you just you know, one of your favorite sort of original creations that you've done over the years?
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready, and I'll see if I got something.
Yeah, sure. Just give me 1 second. I'm ready. You can follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. He's our president of Power Rankings. Also, do read everything on Arrowhead Report and do subscribe to the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. It's really important that you do both of those things. But now it's time for Power Rankings. Tucker, you are the president. Where do you want to start? My inclination is to start serious. Hold on. Rudy, go ahead and explain what I just saw.
Just basically yelled, mother bleeper, because I was a real chuggy and I hit my knee on the cabinet. I do it once every time I sit in this chair. At least once during those 4 or 5 hours, I will hit my knee.
Yes.
On the counter really hard.
Rudy kneecaps himself on a weekly basis. Mr. President, where do you want to begin?
Let's go Chiefs draft picks.
All right, let's do it. We're ranking our just top 5 picks this Chiefs draft. They have 6, so there's that. Why don't we go, Rudy? Why don't you go ahead and crack it open?
So I just viewed this as Chiefs draft picks. Number 5 is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh wow, that's okay. We didn't, huh? Well,
He was a Chief draft pick.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fun. Part of the fun of power rankings is finding out how we all view them differently.
Yeah. Number 5, Patrick Mahomes.
All right, I shouldn't have tried to specify anything else there.
I just saw Chiefs draft picks.
That's totally fair.
He was a Chiefs draft picks. I think he's one of my 5 favorite Chiefs draft picks. He's just number 5.
Okay, Tucker, what did you have at number 5?
Noah Gray. That's what I had at number 5.
I had a chance for my bit. You'll see what I was doing. And my number 5 is Nick Bolton. I had a chance to just leave him off the list and just try to be a bleep hole. But I think, honestly, I do think he's going to have a good role in this. Here's my looking down the future. I think in the future, I'm going to be the hater of the pick for like a year, and then like 3 years, I'm going to be the guy defending Nick Bolton to people that want him replaced with somebody else.
Yes,
that's my prediction. Right. Rudy, number 4.
Number 4 was in 2012 when the Chiefs drafted Donald Stevenson ahead of Russell Wilson.
Tucker, number 4.
I've got Cornell Powell. I really think that he can be a year 1 contributor. He's excited to join the team, as all these rookies are. But you look at his mixtape that he posted on his Twitter the other day. Woo-wee. It's some high-quality video editing right there and some good route running as well.
I got Noah Gray, number 4. I don't know that he's going to have a role, but if he does, if the Chiefs find him for him, then it could be fun. Rudy, number 3.
Number 3, we're going back to 1983. Todd Blackledge.
Sure.
Ooh.
Yeah. Jim Kelly, but I wrote down Jelly apparently. And Dan Marino were drafted shortly after as well.
Tucker, number 3.
If the Chiefs were drafting college football announcers in that draft, they hit a home run. But number 3, I've got Nick Bolton for all the aforementioned reasons I mentioned in the last segment. If you missed it, you can go listen to the podcast.
Also, I think the most eloquent thing you said this last hour was a comment you left on Twitch saying, I think the critiques of Bolton and the value of their pick are fair, but he's not going to be a bust. I think that's accurate.
Good analysis.
I wish you would have said that last segment at some point.
Me too, honestly. I couldn't get... Well, this is what happened. I went and got a fresh key lime LaCroix, and now I'm back. I've got my bearings. I got my wits with me, and it's all because of this key lime LaCroix.
I got Cornell Powell at number 3. Rudy, number 2.
Number 2, back in 2003 when the Chiefs had an amazing offense. Priest Holmes, great running back, and they decided to trade down and draft Larry Johnson and not Troy Polamalu.
Number 2 for Tucker, number 2.
I've got Creed Humphrey. I think he's going to be the starting center for not only the short term, but for the long term, and that's really exciting.
I have Trey Smith at number 2. Rudy, number 1.
Number 1, we're going back to the year 1985 when the Chiefs drafted Ethan Horton, tight end, 15th overall. Jerry Rice went 16th overall.
Oh, Fadoof.
Some of those hurt.
That might have been the wrong pass catcher. Tucker, number 1.
Trey Smith.
Last pick was your favorite. I do think that's kind of wild and kind of fun. I got Creed Humphrey, number 1. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Josh Kane, though, didn't make any of our lists, any of the 3 of us. So
that's interesting.
It is kind of interesting.
He almost made mine. He was 6th. Honorable mention. Just behind Patrick Mahomes.
Which one do you want next, Tucker, Mr. President?
Let's go flooring, but to address Chaotic Warrior, he said something about not acknowledging one of my only falls being LaCroix. You also like LaCroix, so that's why you didn't acknowledge it.
I haven't bought LaCroix in a long time, but I'm okay with the carbonated water every once in a while. I don't have the LaCroix tramp stamp that you do, but like it's fine.
Right. Fair enough. Not many do.
Which one did you want to do next?
Flooring.
This is types of flooring.
Oh, yeah.
Tucker, do you want to lead us off on this one?
Yeah, I will.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, sweet.
What's your number 5, Tucker?
Number 5, Tucker. That was my fault. I didn't do the thing. Number 5.
I'm going to go with polished concrete. You know, like when you walk into like a Lowe's or a Home Depot,
Okay.
you know, that nice concrete floor. That's what I like.
Well, like
Or
the
a nice
smooth,
basement.
like the glazed concrete.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My
Cold
number,
when you lay on it.
my number 5 is short office carpet. It's what I'm currently touching right now. It's nice that you can at least like roll a rolling chair
Yeah.
on it, but I'm never like excited about it. It's functional. It does its thing. As number 5 for me. Rudy, number 5.
My number 5, different flooring, but same reason as you. It's the laminate flooring, right? Like it's also something you frequently maybe see in an office or something. You know, it's not great quality. It's just kind of popped together like a puzzle. But you know what? It gets the job done. And, you roll across it pretty easily. It doesn't look great, but it's fine. It's solid.
I could have put that at number 5 if I would have thought about it, and I would have had absolutely no gripe with that at all. Tucker, number 4.
I've got the natural rubber floor. Have you ever seen one of those? Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah, I played. I think there's a gym in Topeka where we had basketball games on like a rubber gym floor. It's weird. It's weird to play sports on, but it's pretty nice.
My number 4 is like sub-basement cement. I've had in the houses I've lived in, I think 2 out of the 3, doing quick math, or 3 out of, I don't know, whatever. That's been a staple. Current house got a cement floor in the basement, kind of partially finished and whatnot, and I actually don't hate it. I think the laminate floor would have probably taken the lead on that one for me, but I kind of enjoy, especially in the basement. It can be kind of cool in the summer. It's underrated, I would say. Tucker, Rudy, number 4.
For me, I put linoleum. I don't know if it's good, but it's just like it's essentially the floor. You won't understand this, Josh, because you were homeschooled.
Yeah,
but
sure.
it's essentially the floors that you had throughout your schools, and they're very.
I've been in schools.
They're very slick, and also the amount of times where like maybe just like somebody didn't have their shoes on, and like, you give them a little push, all of a sudden people are just falling all over the place. Those floors are slick.
Tucker, number 3.
I've got porcelain tile.
Any particular reason?
Well, because it just looks good. It just looks darn good in like a bathroom or anywhere around the house.
Number 3 for me, shag carpet. Carpets you can run your toes through. I want to feel it. If I'm going to have carpet, I want to feel that carpet between my little piggies. That's number 3 for me. Rudy, number 3.
I have a stone tile in a bathroom. My dad, anytime he does a bathroom, he goes and buys like stone tile, and it looks really, really, really good. If you get a little cold, stone can get a little cold, but it looks really good. It's fancy.
I'm not commenting on your guys' tile for a reason that will become evident momentarily, I imagine.
Oh, boy.
Tucker, number 2.
I've got shag carpet. Not only is it a great flooring, it's also great for walls. You put the shag carpet up on the walls. You ever walk into one of those old radio stations? They got all over the walls to diffuse the sound. Oh, yeah. It's versatile.
This is the second or third time I have had a conversation. This is the third time I've had a conversation about carpet on the walls in the last 2 days. Which is just true. It's just weird. It's just a true statement. That was your number 2, Tucker?
Yes, that was my number 2.
My number 2, good old-fashioned hardwood. Love a hardwood floor. I don't really like carpet all that much. I like a good rug. But generally speaking, I like a hardwood floor. That's number 2 for me. Rudy, number 2.
Number 2, hardwood floor. Like a nice real wood hardwood floor.
It's just really good. Tucker, number 1 type of flooring.
My number 1 is the hardwood floor, because you know what they pull back in all these home improvement shows? They go in, they pull back the
Rip it up!
to get to the hardwood floor. They want the hardwood floor underneath. They need the hardwood floor underneath. That's why it's the king of all flooring.
I'm gonna make an argument here for my number 1, but I'm splitting hairs. Number 1, I have generally tile. I have tile as a category. A bathroom tiling, with like the cold sort of linoleum tile that you mentioned, Tucker, fits the space. We have a stone tile around like the sink in the kitchen in my house, and I love it. It's the best little square of flooring anywhere in the house. I like it a lot. Also, harder to bleep up than hardwood floor. I feel like you can treat it a little more without worrying about taking a chunk out or whatever. Never worried about it. But it can look good. You can have different colors and everything. I got tile number 1, just barely over hardwood. Rudy, number 1.
Number 1 for me, I have the shag carpet because I like my feet to be nice and toasty. I like my feet to be warm.
If I'm gonna have carpet, I want the carpet to fully cover my feet like I'm walking through a meadow.
I like a nice soft carpet. Keeps my feet warm.
I want to be able to mow my carpet if I wanted to.
You could.
Last category here is playground equipment. Top 5 pieces of playground equipment. All right, let's get to it then. Rudy, number 5.
Number 5, the slide. It's just solid. Slide's good.
Number 5, I've got the seesaw. Especially when you start trying to bounce your friend off of it violently. Loved that. Tucker, number 5.
I've got the little tunnels that connect like the different parts of the playground together.
Okay.
I would just chill in there when I got too tired or it was too hot, and it's like a built-in shade.
Yeah, take a cigarette break. Rudy, number 4.
For me, it's not the seesaw, but the teeter-totter.
What is the difference? Okay, very good.
Same thing, just different. It's like lightning bug, firefly.
I definitely called it a teeter-totter, and I wrote
You jump up and down,
seesaw.
you flip somebody off. It's fun.
Number 4 for me is that igloo-looking jungle gym type of thing, kind of a little. Because you go in there, now it's like a home base. It's like a fort. That's number 4 for
climb
me.
up on the top, yeah.
Tucker, number 4.
I got the swings, all reliable.
Rudy, number 3.
Number 3. So you know those like almost a lot of times are like an animal and it's got a spring and you can really like go forward and backwards on it. I don't know what those are called necessarily, but those are fun.
Number 3 on my list is the springy horse thing.
Yeah, springy horse thing.
Man, you could get that mother effer hauling.
Yep, you could really ride that thing.
You could throw your back out. You could give yourself whiplash if you really put your body into it. I love those little springy guys. Tucker, number 3.
I've got the mini rock wall. Sometimes in these newfangled gyms they put up for these kids, they got mini rock walls going up to them.
Yeah, that one is good. I love that we ended up on the same one there, Rudy. I think that's great.
That's very good.
Number 2, Rudy.
And we also didn't know what it was called. Number 2 for me, jungle gym. I like kind of the same thing you're talking about.
The igloo-shaped kind of little dome?
Yeah. Jungle gym maybe is a bit more broad. You can do some different things to it, but essentially the same thing, right? You can climb up on the top. You can hang out down below. You can do a little everything.
You can You feel like Spider-Man. Yeah, it's great. Tucker, that's my turn. Number 2 for me, I don't know what these are called, but I remember them specifically at a few different playgrounds. They're like a bunch of poles in succession with a little circular base on them. And so you could step from one to the other, but almost with a sort of effect similar to like a vertical monkey bar, but you have a circular base on the bottom. Like they're made for playing The Floor is Lava. It felt like being in a challenge on Survivor. I do not know what they're called. They were connected to the ground at the bottom by like a couple inches of like chain link, so they would wobble a good amount, but not like they wouldn't fly up into the air. I don't know what they're called, but they're wonderful, hugely underrated. I'm not helping because I don't know what they're called. Tucker, number 2.
I think we called them lily pads.
Ooh.
But my number 2 is the merry-go-round. You get that thing spinning and some dangerous things happen, but I love a good merry-go-round.
Rudy, number 1.
Number 1, it's the merry-go-round.
I thought you were going to be number 1.
It's a kid killer. It's the best.
It didn't make my list. I'll be the spoiler here.
Whoa.
Because I don't like mortal wounds. But some good memories and also pure terror. My number 1.
The adrenaline. Rush.
You're right.
You never felt more alive.
But I got that from playing Survivor challenges on those little pole-based thingies. Number 1 for me, a good swing. It is all reliable, and I think that's a good thing in this regard. Tucker, what is your number 1 piece of playground equipment?
I've got the rocker horses. I don't remember what you guys call them, but the little springy horses. That's my number 1 because you could get those things moving.
Yes! You could absolutely haul.
They're great.
They're violent and they're fun, and also everyone can play at their own pace. It's unlike the merry-go-round.
You're just there for the ride. You have no control over what's happening. That's the ride.
You pick your level, they pick their level, and what level you really want is to be threatening for your head to fly off of your shoulders.
I don't want to know what the level is. Fear, make me afraid.
Crank it up. Thank you, Tucker, for joining us. Despite the first segment, the second one was pretty good.
I think we really saved it in the back half.
You want to say chuggy again?
Wasn't that chuggy this time around?
You can follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. Check out arrowheadreport.com and the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. Also, thank to Robert Rimpson. Thanks, of course, to Rudy Salazar. Thanks to you for listening. We're back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Until then, bye, Mom!
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Briscoe.